I don't have anything you're going to want to hear. No, I'm kidding. I actually do. Maybe, I don't know. If you're hoping that this gets extended to game 5, I do believe it's going to. But even I, as somebody that normally errs on the side of, as Gary knows, a little bit more optimist. Let's just put it this way. I think tonight they ended the game the right way. Because obviously it's a loss, Gary. We all know that. They had no chance of winning early on. But the fact they came back and scored 7, call it empty runs, sure. But you just want to get out of Toronto with something to not feel awful about, right? And I appreciate that, but at the same time, until that happened, this was a gutless, heartless performance from the New York Yankees. I'm going to say this right now. Max Fried was not paid to do what he did today. Nor was, I don't want to put it on Aaron Judge going 2 for 3, but the point being is this can't happen. You can't have games like this. That said, Gary, I fully expect them to be ready to go at the stadium, but a development happened. We saw Trey Savage for the first time against the New York Yankees. And he is essentially, if he's probably better. I don't want to say better than Cam, but that, Gary, we were talking about it off air. That is the most dominant performance I think I've ever seen from any pitcher against any lineup. And
no lineup has ever been more dominated than we were dominated today from Savage. That game, insane. By the way, for those of you who saw the score and were like, 13-7, the Yankees, did their thing towards the end of the game, a little too late. No, for those of you who watched the Super Bowl, it was 40-22 Eagles, right? And I think most people watched that. That game wasn't even that close. For those of you who watched the Super Bowl, you'd be like, oh, no, the Chiefs lost by 40. That's really what happened. They scored some garbage time touchdowns. We scored some garbage time runs. It was garbage time. Cody Bellinger had a home run. Aaron Judge was 2 for 3. None of those stats that you saw in the important time of the game, where the game was being decided, the Yankees offense did nothing. Nothing. They weren't taking quality at bats. They weren't hitting the ball hard. Nothing was good. There was nothing good to take away from it. And essentially, after everyone, for the most part, shut the game off, the Yankees decided, after Savage was pulled from the game, because the Jays manager, Schneider, decided, we've done enough offensively here. We're up 11. We can take Savage out. And Jake, you brought it up pre-show. Now, in the off chance that the Yankees, who have looked anemic this entire series, it's just 2 games technically, they've looked like a joke. If they do win those 2 games at home at Yankee Stadium, and we've got to come back for a game 5, guess who's pitching, guys? Trey Savage. And you'd like to believe, anything can happen in a winner take all. That's technically true, especially with a young pitcher out there. Nothing that was shown today on the TV set, nothing, would indicate at all that the Yankees would even put up a fight in that game. With any matchup that they had, and Jake, you again brought up something pre-show, Cam Schlittler wouldn't be able to pitch in that game. Who is it that you guys would feel confident in if we could snap our fingers and go to a game 5? Who's pitching that game? Who's keeping us in the game long enough in order to beat what we just saw? I would love for somebody to answer that. Jake, I would love if you could. We can't look to Max Fried. Max Fried pitched poorly against Toronto earlier this year. We put some faith in him, said, let's see what he does. Let's see how he adjusts, right? Cam Schlittler, we're going to see the same exact thing. Toronto got to him. We're going to see how he adjusts. Max Fried just showed up and looked like a scrub. It was a scrubs performance on the biggest stage in the division series. Really disappointing, disheartening. And I think you said it, Jake. If we got to a game 5, it would be Max Fried pitching that game. Do you guys want to really see an encore of that performance on the road again in Toronto? It's not looking good for the Yankees. So we're still technically not dead. The series technically doesn't start till the road team wins a game. But if you're the Yankees and you're a Yankees fan, you have to be pretty disappointed in how we've looked.
Yeah. And Mike T, appreciate the comment here. Wouldn't it be Gausman in Game 5? I think it was until tonight. And by the way, fire Schneider tomorrow if he puts Gausman in Game 5. Because now all of a sudden, Gary, I know Gausman pitched well in Game 1. I don't care. I now would give the Yankees the win. I would say they win 3 straight. If they came out today and said Gausman, he's going to pitch Game 5, I'd be like, okay, goodbye. You're gone.
I thought our approach was bad against Gausman, to the point where Gausman went post-game and said, their approach surprised me. They were surprisingly aggressive.
That's fixable, though.
Very fixable, because it seems like more of us.
Savage is fixable. There's a fundamental issue. This team can't hit splitters. Even guys I said analytically can hit splitters.
Yes.
They couldn't hit splitters tonight. No one could hit a splitter. When they interviewed Aaron Boone, which is the funniest interview in the history of TV.
Wait, what did he say? Oh, you're talking about mid-game, yeah.
Yeah, like in the middle of the game. It's like, yeah, you guys are getting your ass kicked.
They had Ken Rosenthal go over there. He's like, hey, Boone, what's it going like? We're just not sure. It was literally like interviewing a boxer who's just laying on the mat. And they're like, so how is it down here? We were a joke tonight. And I don't mean to say that in a way to take away responsibility from how dominant Trey Savage was. Because you have to imagine, if I was a Red Sox fan, and Jake, we were running a Red Sox podcast, this is what it would be like if you watch Cam Schlittler from the other side, right? And that outing that you got in the wild card, you're like, okay, how do I cover it?
Felt.
Right, so you deserve credit on the other side. Trey Savage showed up, and he threw the biggest punch you could ever throw. We weren't even close to dodging it. We put no fight whatsoever. I could not emphasize to any fan, whether you're a Yankees fan or not, couldn't emphasize enough how much this performance felt repeatable. If you're Trey Savage and you go into a Game 5, again, respect to what Gausman did, because he dominated us as well. It wasn't at that level. We watched the Gausman at bats and we're like, why is Trent Grisham not taking any pitches? Why is Cody Bellinger swinging first pitch with runners in scoring position? We're squandering opportunities. Aaron Judge came up with the bases loaded. Ben Rice came up with the bases loaded. We had our shots. Jake, was there ever a moment or an at-bat today where you're like, oh, this is an opportunity? Was there even a single at-bat today?
No. Well, okay. There was a moment in time, I believe, that they could have gotten things going. What inning?
When was that?
It felt like...
Was it during batting practice?
They got the bases loaded when it was 2-12, right?
When?
Wasn't it the bases loaded?
In what inning?
After Bellinger hit the 2-run shot.
I mean, perhaps, but what was the score at that point?
Oh, it was 12-2. But the point being is, it's not that I felt like they were going to come back, but it was the first time in the entire game where I was like, oh, okay, they're not dead.
Right. So really, we never took a high leverage at bat the whole game. That's how dominated we were. And we were giving up home runs to Ernie Clement. And by the way, if you look at Ernie Clement, this is not a scrub, right? This is a career 260 hitter. He's a good big leaguer, right? He's taken 1,300 at bats, which is actually somewhat close to what Anthony Volpe's done. He's hit 25 home runs. 25.
Didn't it look like they were barely hitting them? Like, just sticking their bat out, they would just go rocket ships, and you're like, Will Worm, what the hell are you doing, my guy?
It does show you the beauty, though, of contact first players in October, because I think when you look at the Yankees, they called us frequently during the broadcast today, they called us the #1 offense in baseball, which if you're a Yankees fan, or really if you're a casual fan, you just enjoy baseball, you're like, let me turn on Yankees and Jays, right? This is interdivision. This will be fun. This will be a fun watch. You turn it on, you'd say, oh, the #1 offense versus a young up-and-coming arm. This team must be the most qualified to take quality at-bats against whoever is on the other side. Jake, I think that would be a massive overstatement. The Yankees don't have the best offense in baseball. They've scored the most runs, perhaps. That's not the number one offense.
It's empty runs.
They are empty runs. We're not a bad offense, but against good pitching, you can absolutely argue that we make adjustments less than a lot of other great offenses. I mean, many. So that's the biggest concern. They score a lot of runs during the regular season, but when the pitching turns up, can they play a different style of baseball? We've seen them run and they'll be aggressive stealing bases, but have they shown that they can do the Cody Bellinger where he's got all the clubs in the bag? How many guys in our lineup are doing that right now? There aren't really any adjustments being made. You look across the way, the Jays are playing the game the right way. They're slapping singles left and right. They'll hit their home runs. That's still a good thing. But Jake, they right now offensively, it's not just the pitching. Offensively, we're overmatched in pretty much every way. And all of that's got to change in a day or two. So yeah, we're not on the team. We'll see what they do about it. Again, Jake and I aren't fielding any ground balls. We're not executing any pitches. But so far, the Yankees haven't shown any reason to believe that they're winning this series in 5. No reason.
No, and I mean, Shane Bieber obviously hasn't seen them a ton, but he really has dominated the Yankees. The guys in the lineup anyway. The only ones who have hit off him, Rosario has a hit and 3 at-bats. Goldschmidt has 3 hits and 6 at-bats. Stanton has 2 hits and 9 at-bats, but for the most part, like Judge is 0 for 7 against him. Volpe is 0 for 7. Bellinger's 0 for 3. Jazz is 0 for 3. Ryan McMahon's 0 for 3. It's not a huge sample size, but it's not like one of those things like where you're like, wow, they got great numbers. I feel like they're going to come in. Like against Bayo, I was like, they have a lot of guys on this roster that hit well against Bayo.
And we just had success as well at Fenway. So when we walked into the game, we said, okay, there's somewhat of an indication here why it can work out in our favor. It definitely sucks, right? To turn on the podcast.
I still think they win. I do. I
think you think they win game 3?
Yeah, no, I feel like the Yankees are going to send this back to Toronto, but the Yankees lost the series tonight. They basically told everybody in Toronto, including his damn parents, that Trey Savage is our absolute kryptonite. There is no chance in hell we are beating that guy. And guess what? Like you said, like I said off air, in that moment, that's when Schneider became, in my opinion, a very good manager in that moment. And was like, you know what? The plan, everyone knew the plan was supposed to start Gausman for game 5. That's your ace.
Yep.
Well, he's not your ace anymore. It's actually Savage. And in my opinion, in that moment, would I have taken Savage out in a no-hitter? I'm a little more old school, so no. But I understood taking him out with 78 pitches, 11 strikeouts, knowing, okay, we're going to win the game. He's shown me enough. I want to make sure he doesn't get hurt or anything. Let's keep him in exactly the mindset, his mental state, where he is right now. Build on this, because this is his first ever start in the postseason, and we're going to use him in game 5. Because that right there,
pursuing the no-hitter just didn't matter. It didn't.
Exactly. But like, I personally wouldn't have just taken him out right then and there. I'm not saying I would have gone for the no-hitter. That's inexcusable because if he does get hurt or, it gets broken up, well, now you just used a ton of pitches on him. And that doesn't make any sense. But I give Schneider a lot of credit. And this is why I've said I actually like Schneider as a manager. I think he's underrated. I think he's done a really nice job. But I also want to make this clear. There are a lot of people blaming Aaron Boone. What on earth is Aaron Boone supposed to do? These are grown men. I'm once again of the belief that coaches and managers get way too much blame for poor performance. I understand when it comes to, say, the NFL, right? And you have discipline and the lack thereof. And there are penalties that are committed over and over and over and over and over again. And those guys, those coaching staffs, they're at fault because they're not coaching these guys and they're not disciplining them enough to be ready for the moment. But I'm sorry, what the Sam hell is Aaron Boone going to do about Trent Grisham? What is Aaron Boone going to do about these guys not hitting, about these guys getting just absolutely shut down? What is he going to do about his ace, who they're paying $28 million a year to, who gives up 7 earned runs in a game that you have to have? What is he going to do about Will Warren coming in? I thought Boone managed the hell out of this game in a good way. And guess what? All he had to do was just keep Will Warren in there. You weren't going to win the game. It got out of hand.
I saw it on Twitter. People were like, "Oh, why'd you go to Will?" Did you see what there were some?
Yeah.
Some folks were saying on Twitter, they said, "Oh," and I want to make sure I have this exactly accurate. If Will Warren didn't throw 4 2/3 and give up 6, the Yankees had a chance in this game. I go, what pipe are you smoking on?
No,
if
it
Will
feels
Warren
that way, but
didn't
they took their foot off the gas.
If Will Warren didn't pitch and give up those runs, excuse me, Trey Savage isn't pulled from the game.
Exactly.
So in what reality, guys, when you watch football games and a team's up 40-0, that's the time when the other team's going to score. They're playing prevent defense. They're not running any blitz packages. There's not going to be any disguise packages. Cover 2, let's go. Right? They're going to throw it underneath. There's going to be 1,000,000 yards. It's come from behind mode. They're going to score touchdowns.
Yeah.
But it's intended to slow you down. Throw the ball, keep the ball in front of us, make the tackle. It's not supposed to be some hard-nosed football that you see in the first quarter.
And to keep your guys healthy, too.
It keeps you healthy. Yeah. So, the Yankees, if Savage stayed in the game, right, which the Jays could have chosen to do that, the Yankees probably score 1 run total today. That's more than likely. If they went to their high leverage,
hit him at all.
Right. He would have ran out of pitches. He would have thrown 103 pitches. They would have pulled him. He would have had no hits. He would have not have surrendered a hit all day. No chance. Then they would have brought in probably Varland, who pitched scoreless today. Varland would have pitched, and nothing would have happened, just like today. That's what it is. Guys, the Yankees wouldn't have scored unless the Jays put their low-leverage guys in the game, which is exactly what they chose to do. So it's really, when you look at this team, you genuinely have to ask yourself, what did you want Aaron Boone to say? Did you want him to walk Aaron Judge's lunchbox to his cubby? Do you want him to go walk up? Aaron Judge had 2 hits today. In the moment of the game where you're talking about innings 1 through 3, that's when the game was like up in the air. What's going to happen? Is the Yankees offense going to figure this out? Right? You Savage, this young stud. Everyone went down in order. Judge, Stanton, Rice. Ben Rice looked like he went 2 for 4 today. I don't know if he was proud of it. He looked like he saw a ghost. A ghost. He was swinging at pitches. He was missing and I'm not here to make fun of it. I'm not. I'm here to make sure it's crystal clear that the Yankees were gutless today. Absolutely wrecked in every sense of the word. And by the way, there were a lot of folks, a lot, Jake, who said, the Jays won 94 games. The Yankees won 94 games, right? It felt like we're neck and neck. Are we the better team? Are the Jays, what are we? What are the Jays? And the Jays in their coverage was, the Yankees, and you saw it, of course. That's not a good team over there, right? They're not a good team. The year prior, the Dodgers said, all you got to do is put the ball in play. They'll screw it up. We have the Dodgers players disrespecting us. We've had the Jays coverage disrespecting us. And the worst thing Yankees coverage said all year was that, the plus minus, right? Michael K's coverage. The plus minus isn't really indicating how the Jays record looks at the time, right? This was like in the middle of the year. It's not really indicating towards the trade deadline what the Yankees should think their record should be. They think their record should be better than Toronto. Here we stand. Now you know exactly where Toronto stands and exactly where the Yankees stand as of now. Now, if the Yankees rattle off 3 straight games, they certainly can go do that. I mean, I didn't think Boston was going to do it in 2004. But, guys, they've got to go do that. I'm not going to make any projection that this Yankees team and what they're doing, Aaron Boone can't do anything for this group. Nothing. There's nothing. There is nothing he can tell Aaron Judge with the bases loaded and 0 outs. Hey, now would be a really good time for you to just take one of the 600 at bats that you took this year that went really well for you. I really think now would be the time. You've never done it in October ever in high leverage with any consistency, but I think now is it really coaching? Is it coaching why Giancarlo Stanton had 2 low leverage knocks today and not in any of the at bats that were important today or in game 1? It has nothing to do with Aaron Boone. It has nothing. He's made plenty of mistakes. We've covered them. This team, it is the players. The players showed up, got punched in the mouth 1-2, games 1, game 2, and now we're going back to Yankee Stadium to sell chicken. They're going to have to prove to us that they're even deserving to be on the same field.
Yeah, I see. Like, I'm glad you and I see the same thing on that, because it's one of those things like where people will be like, oh, he needs to provide more leadership, and understand this. This isn't me bailing Aaron Boone out. This is not me bailing Aaron Boone out. But this is me trying to be fair. And I just feel like these people will be like, Aaron Boone is the reason we lost today. That is so stupid. Aaron Boone's the reason you lost today? What the hell is a retired baseball player who chews sunflower seeds going to do about the game today? Explain that to me. What was he going to do?
We were being no hit by a rookie. Like, and the only reason that we got a hit in the game is because the other team decided we are up enough runs. Let's pull this rookie and protect him in the off chance the Yankees win both games at home, so that we for sure, given his pitch count, can pitch him in game 5 if it's an emergency. But more than likely, we're not. Likelihood is, this is what's likely. The Jays lose game 3, win game 4, and they move on. Savage pitches game 1. That's what's most likely to happen. But certainly you can go out there. It's a winnable game to game 3. You could win game 4. Could you really argue that we can win game 5? I don't see it. All roads lead back to J-Dong.
Unfortunately,
B-Ride, that's great timing right there.
We're not going to see him at all. And the reason being is because Stanton actually hit 2 today, and they got him potentially going. I guess we'll see.
His Garbo time knocks. Gotta love those.
Yeah. It's the same thing as the garbage time touchdown that you lose fantasy football because like some random quarterback comes in and then throws to the star wide receiver who's just yelling the entire time. Cough, cough, Jamar Chase.
Right. I mean, but also Cody Bellinger had a home run today, and
Dude, I literally did not move a muscle.
I turned it off after I saw the home run. I even got more mad, if that makes any sense. When I saw Cody Bellinger hit the home run, I was like, now's the time I need to turn it off. I can't hear Smoltzy. I called him Smoltzy. I had to hear John Smoltz be like, oh, and that's a 3-run homer, and he had to mention, and the lead is cut to this. I was like, you know what? This is just going to piss me off. That's off.
Well, Chris Paul fade away down 40.
Yes.
Never forget that. But no, it's like, it's funny. I was seeing on Twitter, people are like, how many times, like did you see the John Smoltz drinking games?
I didn't see it, no.
It's like, drink every time John Smoltz mentions dimensions.
I think he said it, like 5 times today?
Why are you saying it so much? Why?
I just think it's probably...
It's so.
I don't know. If you watch enough of somebody, you can tell that they say something a lot. That's just his thing.
I mean, I say a lot of stuff too, and like you say a lot of stuff too. But like John Smoltz, like he has a target on his back because he wants to have a target on his back because he's always trying to kind of like sidestep the whole. Yeah, I kind of hate the Yankees because they beat me, and he shows it every time he's announcing them, and. I used to really like listening to him, and then someone pointed it out, and now I can't like not hear it. Like I just hear.
Oh, that or the bias?
The bias against the Yankees.
Oh yeah, I mean it's clear. I mean he enjoys
it until the last couple of years, and I was like, oh my god, because I like Joe Davis, and then there are people that always hate on Joe Davis, but
that's a good way to be hated is to be an announcer. I would say. Hey, if you're an announcer, you're not going to be liked, especially if you get the gigs in football and they throw you over to baseball. If you're multi-sport, for the most part, you're hated, man.
Joe Buck's underrated because he's hated by so many people, and I actually think he's good at what he does.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind him as much. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
He's
but
not
Apex,
Matty V, but
yeah, you're a huge fan of Matty V.
I'm a big fan of Matt Vasgersian. I'll just say this: MLB The Show fell off a cliff as soon as he was off the game.
I did like him in the show. I did. Apex, by the way, you were mentioning Big G. I know a lot of people were calling him Big Ground Out after the wild card, but
Harsh.
Apex with the 2. So Apex, thank you for the support. Says bench G. And G, he had 2 knocks and low leverage, and they're the most lowest leverage hits you've ever seen. Judge DH. You saw the play that he made in right field. The ball went between his legs. Very clearly can't make the throws. And Jason Dominguez in right field. That would be in a short right field, the easiest defensive position to play. Right? Try something for game 3. You said, Jake, just about 15 minutes ago that Giancarlo is going to play in game 3, essentially predicting that Jason Dominguez won't. I would agree with you. I do. I think the Yankees are going to look at this game and say, yeah, we got it going just too late, as if they just didn't come prepared in the first 5 innings. No, you didn't face the starter, who they basically said the fight was over. Grisham had a knock. Judge had 2. Bellinger had a homer. Rice was 2 for 4. Stanton was 2 for 5. All of those were in garbage time. So in reality,
it was a medical stoppage.
Yes, I don't take those numbers that I saw against the low leverage pitching of Toronto in garbage time and make decisions of who should play in game 3. I look at the first 5 innings when we needed to score, and I make judgments off of that. That's what I would do. So are you making that prediction now that we just still don't see Jason Dominguez and they go with Stan?
No, they'll go with Stan. Especially
I would agree with you.
Elimination game. Yeah. They're gonna go
I would agree.
Stan.
I would definitely agree with you. I would. And Ness with some orange, thank you for the 20, says
Appreciate
I have
the
to
orange.
say this. Well, can't wait to read it then. The manager can cost you, and Boone's first pitching change in both games have led to multiple runs. Players can cost you as well. Jake, you were talking about Jazz killing both rallies, 2 for 12,
Yes.
7-13. What's up?
He came up to bat when the runners were on, and it was 12-2, and they had any glimmer of hope, whatever. And then 7-13, I think they had the bases loaded, and Jazz didn't do anything. He grounded to first base,
Yes.
and you knew
Yes, okay, so
right
that's good.
away because you can tell if Jazz is going to get on. You just know. And that when they put in that lefty, like he was not seeing his pitches well at all. And you
can I ask you a question though? So Ness brings up this point, which I disagree with, but again, Ness, thank you for the super and the support here. Ness is saying the manager can cost you in Boone's first pitch change in both games, right? The first game, 100% agree. We spent 40 minutes talking about that mistake. Okay, huge mistake.
Yeah.
And that was Weaver. We go to this game. Max Fried, who we paid him $205 million to come be a Yankee. Over $200 million. He shows up and goes 3 innings, gives up 7 runs, 8 hits, right? Ruins the game right off the rip. Game's ruined. You also look at Savage and what he's doing. What would you do if you were Aaron Boone in that spot? Would you really bring in Devin Williams? Would you really bring in guys like Bednar, Doval? And you know what would end up happening, Ness? Here's what would have happened, okay? If you got your way and the game was 7-0, right? 7-0. Savage is still dealing just like he was 5 2/3 and 5 1/3 into the game. You're throwing a couple zeros up on the board after surrendering 7 runs, so it's less runs than Warren gave up. Toronto simply would just keep Savage on the mound for probably an extra inning, and that'd be it. And now you go into game 3 having pitched multiple guys that you're high leverage guys. Why would you do that? I don't think that that's a recipe at all for success. I think the way the Yankees have to look at it is if your ace is slated for a game, going against a rookie on the other side, and you go out there and you're down 7-0, 7-1 in a game, you might as well just go to somebody. Jake, I think I text you. We text each other at the same time. We're like, this is a Will Warren spot right away. There's no way you burn, no way that you burn 3 or 4 guys that maybe 1 or 2 of them are in your circle of trust. And now you're going to force them to pitch back-to-back days in game 3. The Yankees very easily should have looked at basically 4 innings of baseball today and said, you know what? Games 1 and 2 are chalked. We need to worry about games 3 and 4 and go from there. Those are home games. That's it. It's the only way to have looked at it. I just don't see how Aaron Boone made a mistake by bringing Will Warren into this game. Who else could it have been?
Some of the best managing he's done all year, because it was him recognizing that I have a starter, which not everybody has, that can go length. I already got 3 innings out of Fried. It's not going to be that hard. We're only going to get 8 innings in this game because they're not batting in the bottom of the 9th unless we do something crazy. So I only get 8 innings I have to cover. And he put in Will Warren. And look, like, I texted you. I'm like, look, I get it. There were some people like, oh, just keep Fried in. Why? He couldn't get anybody out. He was cooked. I don't care about his pitch count. He couldn't get anyone out.
He would have given up 15 runs if we let him.
He was Marcus Stroman today.
It was also self-preservation. Like when we took him out of this game, it was really just our way of saying just throw in the towel and hold on to whatever confidence he would ever have going into a game 5, if
Gary,
it ever were to exist.
Did you see the runners in scoring position stats? They're so dumb.
We were 5 for 7.
Like what?
Well, because we didn't get into scoring position. I think 2 of the times we were there high leverage, like actually high leverage.
Yeah.
And the other 5 times, which we came through technically, we were down like a dozen runs.
Exactly. By the way, shout out to Luke Weaver, no longer Infinity ERA, 135 ERA. I can't even believe that's a thing. But yes, he is
it's only up from here.
135 ERA, only up from here. Will Warren with an 11.57 and ace Max Fried 6.75. Fried was fantastic against Garrett Crochet. Should have won the game. Unfortunately, that didn't happen.
Is that ERA, by the way? That ERA, his total postseason ERA?
Yes.
Okay, so his ERA has actually gone up from the 5.11 roughly that we had it. You remember when we talked about his ERA against, with the member of the Braves?
Yeah.
And then how's that going to translate as a member of the Yankees?
Oh yeah, it just shot up.
It actually got much worse.
It's not career though. It's just this postseason.
Yeah, his career. I think his career was like roughly 5.
Like
but
that
Michael
Lauer guy came in and just was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna have an 81 ERA for the Toronto." Which, by the way, this is why you fight to the end, even if you couldn't win. Look at how many bullpen guys they had to use.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a nice consolation. Yeah, well, something, right? We'll take it.
I mean, when you're dead in the water, it's like take what you can get, right? Michael, we appreciate the super here.
It's a good question.
I'm a Jays fan, and I am wondering what your take is on Boone not changing the lineup at all after Game 1. So here's the funny thing, is I actually agree with it and disagree with it. And here's why.
Okay. Yeah.
I agree because this is what we've been asking for all year. But I disagree because I don't think Trent Grisham's a leadoff hitter in the postseason. He's proven not to be. I don't understand.
You said you would lead off. You said either Volpe or McMahon.
I would have gone.
You would
with
have
McMahon.
mixed it up. Okay.
I would have gone with McMahon. Yeah, that's why I would.
Maybe I would have made the wrong choice. My choice. This may surprise some people. My choice to lead off, and that would have been my real adjustment to make. I would have actually, and I know again, guys, he was 2 for 5 and garbage time hits. They still count, I guess. I would have played Jason Dominguez today. Would it have been the difference of the game?
Yeah, I would have played Jason Dominguez as well.
And I would have led him off. Would I say that Jason Dominguez leading off, like would I think I'm Connie Mack? No. If Jason Dominguez played today, he would have got no hit just like anybody else. All I'm essentially trying to say is that when something doesn't work at all, maybe a little tweak could help, right? Now having watched the game sitting here in hindsight, there was no adjustment. What kind of manager do you think you got where you can watch an outing like that, where your team gets no hit through 5 1/3, they throw in the towel, and then a managerial decision changes the outcome of that game? Please. There was nothing that could have happened. So, Michael, to really address the question, I wasn't surprised at all that we didn't change the lineup because I want to be consistent, very consistent here. When we've talked about what A-Rod has said, right? He's talked about it for years. They've asked him, what was the big difference between 2009 and a lot of what you see in new school Yankees baseball? And he said, well, the lineup just changes all over the place. There's always tweaks. There's always adjustments. It's nice to know what you're doing. And now the Yankees get here. They're finally winning games. They win that wild card round. We were happy about it. We were thrilled. All of a sudden, we get back-to-back days of a consistent lineup, and now all of a sudden we're up in arms. I want to be consistent. I'm not upset that the lineup didn't change. I just personally would have tweaked it here a little bit, but I don't expect any change going into game 3 with the lineup. I think it's just going to have to come from the players. Take better at bats. Hit the ball. It's just that simple.
There's zero that Boone could have done to get these guys ready. No. That was pathetic. And they weren't ready, and they ran into a buzzsaw. And, we had Blue Jays fans in our comment section warning us, saying, no, this Savage kid is way better than you think. This is my first time truthfully watching him. Mm-hmm. And, he's up there. I think you have Skeens, and then you have your, Schlittler, Miz, Savage. I'd probably say Schlittler and Savage are kind of in that same boat. I would put them ahead of the Miz, personally, Mizraowski.
Yeah, because he's had a little bit of a drop off. He was here a little bit longer,
though. To be fair, so
yes,
he has probably a higher ceiling, but yeah, I think Savage and Cam Schlittler are two of the best young arms in baseball. Actually, I'll go a step further. Savage is 2 years younger than Schlittler. There's no reason if he keeps this up, Savage can't be in that Paul Skeens category.
Yeah, and you're just surprised by it because when you hear the profile and you hear 94, 95, you're like, oh, okay, he's good. He's not going to be great.
Yeah. He's just, it's the location, it's the
How
sequencing,
can you know?
It's the confidence. They talked to his parents on the broadcast, which I thought was kind of a wholesome moment. I'm not going to hate on it. I thought it was cool. And they talked to his parents and it was like, how long has he had this composure? And she's like, since he was 15. He was so composed on the mound.
Did you hear his quote?
No. What was his quote?
They asked him 2 days ago. They talked about this start. They asked Trey Savage, hey, how are you feeling about the start? He said, oh, I'm built for this.
That's right.
Okay.
He gave the Yankees a lot of credit. I do remember that.
Yeah, which is fine. It makes people feel good of all the fan bases when you get credit. I think that's what all fans are after. They want their team to get the credit. But when they ask a player, especially a young player, hey, what's it going to be like when you're on the big stage, in the Super Bowl, in the World Series? How are you feeling? And you're like, oh, I'm built for this. No one can. What else can you say than that? Hey,
you just saw his body language. He was mowing these guys down like Michael Myers just kills off people in horror movies.
Yeah, it felt like he was in control. This may sound silly, about 4 outs into the game. I know maybe some people were like, I knew when
totally
I saw Grisham go out there and strike out the way he did, where he's looking at his bat like there was a hole in it. Well, when I watched the second inning, yeah. And I saw who was it. I want to make sure I have this accurate. When I saw Ben Rice go up there and strike out to lead off the 4th, I said, yeah, it's over. These at bats, it's going to either go 0-0 the whole way, or we are just not winning this game. No chance.
When he struck out 6 in a row, I was like, oh, this is a damn buzzsaw.
Yeah, and Matthew Miller, thank you for the 5, says this is a really good question. So Matthew says, do you think we re-sign Belly? John Boy doesn't. I don't think we can go into the season relying on Dominguez and Jones as starters for the next year. So, yeah, I do think it would be a little bit ridiculous to get the production that the Yankees got from Trent Grisham this year, which was really a player built for regular season 162, in my opinion. You've got a center fielder. He hits 33, 34 homers. He draws walks, right? There's value in that over the long haul. He plays good defense. That is valuable in the regular season. Especially against 3 through 5 starters, especially. That's what they got. And when you let a Grisham go, regular season Grisham, you let him go. If you let a Cody Bellinger go, then you're forced to make up that production in the outfield. If it doesn't come right away from these rookies, like if Spencer Jones shows up and it takes him even 6 months to get, if it takes him 3 months to get going in big leagues, you're not looking at 94 wins next year. You're looking at something much less. So I think Cody Bellinger is going to come back to the Yankees. I do. I think he loves playing here. It's not looking great right here in the postseason. He hit a home run today in garbage time. But having said that, people are starting to sour on some of these players, right? Grisham, you're seeing the way the at-bats look. Cody Bellinger's at-bats don't look good. Guys, no one's at-bats look good in high leverage. Not one player. So I still think Cody Bellinger resigns with the Yankees. Maybe if he plays them poorly enough, towards the end here, maybe that contract shortens up 3-4 years instead of looking like 5 or 6. But I think Belly's back. What say you, Jake?
I think it's interesting because, last year, like if Juan Soto, obviously we know the type of player he is, but if Juan Soto and the Yankees lost in the ALDS, I feel like it's a different tone. Like if the Yankees go to the World Series with this team, I think even Grisham gets a bump. But right now, if you lose in the ALDS and say you get swept, I don't think all of a sudden people are thinking, yeah, I really can't wait to watch Cody Bellinger. I think, because
why would you say we're losing, by the way?
What do you mean?
If you had to pencil in what's the biggest problem for the Yankees right now, what would you say?
Well, I mean, it's hard because they did address, I thought they got more bat-to-ball contact guys, like Cody Bellinger, for instance. But at the same time, I don't know. I would say that there is this over-reliance on the long ball, and that's been the issue for the Yankees since they won in 2009. And
I would probably say their lineup is the biggest problem.
But
I really like our rotation.
It stems from that over-reliance on the long ball.
Yes, exactly. So it's not that we can't score. We just can't score when it's important. That's really the gist of it. And so honestly, Trent Grisham is good for the regular season.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge doesn't hit in high leverage. Why is that? We're not sure, but it's a fact, right? We're looking at guys like Ben Rice. Stanton normally does. He's just not this year in high leverage. Jazz Chisholm is boomer bust, right? He just is in high leverage. Volpe very clearly is boomer bust. Wells is boomer bust. Goldschmidt isn't, but he doesn't play now. So the Yankees just have too much swing and miss in their lineup with a lack of adjustment in big games. They're going to have to adjust their lineup going into 2026 to accommodate not for the regular season, but for these type of series. Exactly what they did with Bader. You remember they traded Montgomery. You brought it up yesterday. 2 days ago. They trade Montgomery. They bring in Bader. They said the reason behind that was that, we don't think Montgomery could pitch. They didn't really say that directly. Yeah. But they said Bader was brought to the team to directly help us with a tight defensive series. That's why they did it.
Yeah, and I mean, this is what I would say, is that the Yankees kind of learned last year defense matters against the Dodgers.
Definitely.
And if they lose this series, and keep in mind, you can learn lessons, but these guys get a year older. That includes Judge. That includes Cole, right? So that's something to keep in mind. But the Yankees do lose this series, which it looks like they are leaning towards losing to Toronto. They can learn from the fact that Toronto has a bunch of IKFs, Miguel Cairos, insert not the sexiest name, but is able to come through when needed there. And that's
a lot of batting average. That's
the point. Like
runners
Ernie
in scoring
Clement, Ernie Clement is probably a fan favorite for the Blue Jays. People probably love him.
Yep.
He hits well. He's a good defender, one of the better defenders at his position. If he's not on your team, he's annoying because he just looks like a created character in, MLB 2K.
Kind of like the Dodgers signing the trade for Tommy Edman, right?
Yeah.
The Tommy Edman type players. Those are the guys that just kill you in October because, yeah, you can maybe have one of them on your roster, and that's still a good thing. But if you've got really, if you look at the roster and say, I can see him DHing today, I can see that guy DHing, I can also see him DHing. Really what you're describing is you've got a team of 3 and 4 hitters just stacked up on top of each other.
Exactly.
That's not really a cohesive unit, right? You need to be able to create traffic against some of the game's best pitching. You saw it today with Tarek Skubal. I mean, he's on the mound right now. You need to be able to fight in those at-bats. You can't just go down 3 or 4 pitches, swing at the first pitch, and chop a ball because you were trying to take lift off. That's not how runs are scored off those guys. You can hit home runs. Home runs are good. But you also have to do all the stuff in between. And that's why I think it would be a mistake letting Cody Bellinger go. He still does the stuff in between. He's struggling right now.
100%.
But
I'm
he
just
hits
saying
the home
I
run.
could
But
see it. I could now, for the first time all year, I could see it. I'm not saying I would go that route.
right.
If they let Cody Bellinger go, it's one of those, F it, we're blowing this shit up. Like, we're going to go out and we're going to get Kyle Tucker. We're going to, like, something.
Which is wild because we're
something
replacing him
snap.
with Jones, right? Which
Yeah.
Spencer Jones, from a technical standpoint, Spencer Jones, we're high on. We are. We
Yes.
both are. Spencer Jones, his play style is exactly what is ailing us right now. And that's not on him. That's not his fault. He's just a
No, of
professional
course not.
baseball player. We essentially have a lot of Spencer Jones out there. And this, again, is not an indictment on him. It's an indictment on redundancy of the play style. So,
Well, it's almost like this is like Jason Dominguez. Obviously, he was a better defender. Like, he feels more like a Toronto Blue Jay. And Spencer
Yeah, I agree.
Jones feels like a New York Yankee.
I completely agree with you. 100%. Jason Dominguez, you can see him slotted where Kirk is in the lineup. You can see him where IKF was today. You can see that happening because he's not going to go. Is he a candidate? He really didn't hit a ton. He didn't have a ton of pop. People were asking us, where's all the power from Jason Dominguez? Well, how much power did you need? Is it absolutely necessary that the power game is there for all of our players? And it sounds a lot like it is. If you really look at how the Yankees evaluate players, the first thing they said about Ryan McMahon when he was brought to this team, they said the defense, of course, but also we think he's got 20-plus home run pop, especially at Yankee Stadium. It's like, who cares? Who cares about the pop first? The pop should be secondary to what happens as an overall offensive player. And if the Yankees look up and down and say, how good is Varsho? How good is Kirk? IKF? How good is Jimenez? Like, how good are these players as an individual? They'd be like, oh, we like Jazz as a better player. He went 30-30. Well, do you like Dalton Varsho with runners in scoring position better versus Jazz Chisholm? Because I like their option a lot better than ours. A lot better. I just think that they make adjustments on the fly better. I think that play style plays better in October, and maybe we should commit to players who can play that play style instead of just continuing to say, how many ribbies did he have? How many homers did he have? What type of defense did he play? I think that's such a basic Flintstones way to look at baseball. It is.
I totally agree. And by the way, right, you go back to, let's just say, the World Series against the Braves in 96. Okay. And you look at the roster, right? And it's one of those things where it's like their starting lineup. You got Derek Jeter.
Yep.
You got over the hill Wade Boggs. You have Bernie Williams, who Bernie Williams was the best player on that team. Like, he was on, I don't think people realize how freaking good he was. You have Cecil Fielder, DH. Tino Martinez, Paul O'Neill, Darryl Strawberry, Mariano Duncan, and Joe Girardi at catcher in the game-clinching game, right? Or the series-clinching game. It went 3-2. Like, the thing about that is, like, okay, so, like, Wade Boggs hit 411. Like, OPS. Like, he was not good. Bernie Williams had 1,000 OPS. Fielder had a 909. But here's the thing, okay? Jeter had a 409 on base. Bernie had a 435. Cecil Fielder had a 390. Darryl Strawberry had a 359, right? these guys were important. Luis Sojo was important. He could come in on a moment's notice off
There's
the
a lot
bench.
of contact, by the way, in that lineup that you just listed.
A lot
rather
of
than
contact.
when you, because you mentioned ops, like when you talk about Bernie.
That's why I switched it to on base percentage, because I feel like that kind of gives you a better idea.
It is more of it's a better idea, but it's like at the same time, you can look at Trent Grisham. It seems like there's a play style that's had here, right?
Yeah.
Trent Grisham essentially, I would say 3/4 of the way through the year, we decided not to trade him, right? We didn't trade him. We have him on the team. They say, well, he either walks, hits home runs, or he strikes out. But he walks a lot. So the clip that he's walking and the clip that he's getting on base is good enough to translate into October. What we learned is it doesn't. The walk is good, but you also need to just be able to get a hit. That's why when you look at batting average, I know people act like it's in the Stone Ages. It's an indication that you can make adjustments. You're in a good hitter's count, you can get a hit. You're not in a hitter's count, you can fight back in the count, fouling pitches off. You're not the type of guy that will go down on 3 pitches. We saw that with Springer. We saw that. Hell, we saw it with Bichette, who's not part of this series. We saw it with Bichette against Cam Schlittler earlier this year. He couldn't strike anybody out. They said he was tipping pitches. I gave Toronto credit and said, no. Their play style is creating this. That's what's happening. And so it's good to walk. It's good to hit home runs. You got to do all the stuff in between. And I think the Yankees think that good hitting is just 30-30. Jazz was a 30-30 player. And they say, oh, that's just a great player. We would love to have that guy take at bats in October. It's going to mean success. I hear why they think that, because 30-30 is an impressive stat to accumulate over 162. The problem is I need to watch the type of player you are. And this conversation isn't about Jazz. It's about all 9 guys in our lineup. It's about Anthony Volpe. It's about Grisham. I hit 20 home runs this year. I'm good, Jake. I'm a good baseball player. No. How did you get to that number? I have to be able to watch you, turn on the game, get MLB TV, watch what a player looks like. Do they either hit a home run or walk back to the dugout? If the answer is yes, against guys like what you saw today from Savage, what you're going to see from Tarek Skubal, Garrett Crochet, those guys aren't going to make an impact. Are you kidding me? Those guys are not going to be useful to you. So the Yankees, when John Boy mentions that he doesn't see Cody Bellinger coming back, or at least he's introducing the idea, I understand where he's coming from, but I will tell you, Cody Bellinger is not the problem as far as his approach goes. His approach is more of what we need. The problem is you can't have one guy of 9 have the approach that you need and expect him to transform the room. You need more guys like that. So what they can do this offseason to bring more guys like that in the room, I don't know. That's up to Brian Cashman if you think he's up for the job or the task. But what do you think about that, Jake? Henry, by the way, thank you for the super. I know you've burnt into the screen. We got to catch up on these supers, so I'll go ahead and do that.
They're ruined.
They sure are. And E, nice and simple there. Thank you for the $1 super chat. And Jersey Girl with the 5s says, WTF. What the F was that? They can't hit the splitter. That is true. Jake did try to bring up the stats, which can't be argued, and they're just stats. And those stats didn't mean a damn thing today.
Well,
Stanton, back to being Stanton.
They did, because I'll tell you right now, like you had the guys that do hit the splitter well and they didn't, but the guys that didn't really didn't hit it well. And most of the lineup can't hit the splitter.
Well, our numbers did not improve, and we didn't get to see the Jason Dominguez against the splitter number. We didn't see that happen. Keep 99 in right. Put Jason Dominguez at DH. He can't field. At least he can run. No, so far, Jason Dominguez can't field. That's a fact.
Yes.
But I am interested in having Judge be a full-time DH and putting Dominguez in a short right field and seeing if he can play out there. It's a much easier job. So it comes with a drawback. Judge can't bring his glove out there to right field. He makes diving catches, whatever it was. I know he made a mistake, so people would say, who cares? But, Jake, you'd think that they have to do maybe something a little bit different, but we don't think that they will, given the scenario. This is probably a conversation for the offseason. as far as what they're going to do coming into opening day, who plays where. But yeah, Jersey Girl, we're really sorry you had to watch that. And Yankee Fangirl for Life with the 5 says, I agree about the offense, but letting Warren pitch to Vlad was a mistake. Obviously, he gave up the grand slam. Why pitch to Vlad with runners on at all? Well, the bases were loaded. What are you going to do? They pitched to Aaron Judge with the bases loaded with Gaussman. They were forced to. He had a good at bat, but what do you want Schneider to do on the other side? Do you want him to walk Judge? And some would say, oh yeah, if you walk Judge, it's just one run. You pitch to the next guy. You pitch to Bellinger. You pitch to Rice. And that's true, but that's easier said than done. That's how to put up a crooked number in October. Nobody wants to give up outs. So by the time Warren was in the game, I just assumed the game was over, Jake. I don't know how you felt about it, but when I saw the Vladdy homer, I was like, oh, well, you can just put us to bed.
Yeah, no, it was. You texted me immediately. You're like, oh, yeah, this game was over the moment Vladdy hit the home run.
He was shaking his head yes the whole at bat, by the way. And I'm like, what the hell is he saying? He's like, I see that one. Yeah, I see that one. Okay. And I'm like, that's actually kind of annoying. And then when you hit a ball 115 into the upper deck in left field, it was less annoying. It just sucked.
Yeah, I would say very Juan Soto-esque. It actually kind of reminded me a little bit of against the Guardians when he hit the home run. So I'm hoping that isn't like the send off and this is the end. But I mean, at the same time, Gary, I've been very clear about where my stance is on this team. Do I think they can win the World Series? Absolutely. But I think they win the next 2 games. I think they were going to beat Gausman game 5. But now that we're talking about Savage, who is just, I'm allowed to change my opinion when I find new information. It's not flip-flopping. And it would be malpractice for us to come on this show and dim down the light that is Savage for Toronto. He is special. That was not a fluke. The only hope, and this is not good, right? But like at all. Nope. The only hope you have if you're the New York Yankees is very simple. You are basically holding out hope that, that was just our first time seeing him. It'll be better the second time. That's not good, bruh. That's not good. That's you've already lost when you're thinking that way. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of what you're holding out hope for if you're a fan. But me personally, I think this ends in Toronto. I think it ends in 5, but I think Toronto ends up winning. And I feel confident saying that because, like I said, Savage, I think, is going to get the nod for Game 5. If he doesn't, and they don't pitch him again this series, Schneider needs to be fired on the spot.
Yeah, that would make no sense. So Tuesday's Game 3, right? I'm taking a look at that. And Game 4, we've got Cam Schlittler slated. So you'd have to imagine Game 4, that's advantage at the stadium. Could they lose the game? Absolutely. You could lose any game, right? Tarek Skubal pitched today. Still losable games. They just are. But having said that, it all really comes down to how much confidence you have in Rodon getting this thing started. You got to get the momentum started somehow. And I can promise you guys, it doesn't feel good now when you're down 2-0. But if Rodon dominates the game or he's good enough to help us win this game and it's 2-1, you can definitely say, I feel good going into a Game 3 because it's still just 2 games. It's not a lot of baseball. They just beat the brakes off us the whole time that they were allowed to. So it really comes down to Rodon kicking this off. That's probably where the biggest snag would be, is what Carlos Rodon. I have more faith in Cam Schlittler by far. And that's not a great thing, but we've seen from Rodon is that just when you throw dirt on him, he just pops up out the dirt. And I'm not telling you that this start's going to go well, but it certainly can. It just can. So we're going to be there for Game 3. We're going to cover it. But Yankee Fangirl for Life, thank you for the super and the support. Scott Ross with a 5 says Boone was right to put Warren in, and Jake and I both agree, and Warren is horrible. I disagree. He's definitely not ready to pitch on this stage, that's for sure. Both things can be true. Gary has been right all season. Team feasts on 3 through 5 guys. That is it. that's what we're designed to do, which from a technical standpoint, I think if the Yankees played, at all better in June and July, how can you expect to play that bad for that long period of time? If the Yankees were marginally better in the summer, they're a 96, 97 win team, essentially from beating up on mediocre pitching. They go face guys that you barely recognize. They put up 10 runs. They go see guys like Tarek Skubal, Garrett Crochet. They get shut down all year. That's what they did. They didn't play the good teams well. We didn't play the Dodgers well. We finally went into the gauntlet at the end of the year, Jake, and played well. That was the first time the whole season we played well against good baseball teams, was in that gauntlet. So, Scott, I don't mean to say this and just say that the Yankees are just not good, because they are good, but good isn't going to beat great. And we're running into great pitching with just a bunch of good walking up to the plate. It is a recipe for disaster. And Jake, I shouldn't say I yield to this point. I just fully agree with it. I think it's been hammered home. Your dad's point about the Yankees scoring a bunch of runs, but that snag is that they don't score when you really need them to score. That's looming as large as ever.
Yeah, that's kind of always been the Yankees too. So, that's really what we've gotten to know them as, unfortunately.
We also have 750 people in here live after an hour after a loss. Guys, please be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't yet. Yeah, Jake, go ahead. I just had to.
Yeah, no one watches this show, right?
No, that's what they say.
That's what I was told. So, yeah, no, this is what the Yankees are, and this is what they've been. They had every opportunity in the world to beat the Dodgers and win the World Series. Every opportunity. That series was way closer than what it ends up being. Ends up being 4-1. In reality, they should have won game 1. They should have won game 2, right? They should have won the last game. And that's how it works. The whole should have. Okay, but you didn't, and that's the thing. Like, though, that is the difference. Teams that come through, like, anytime, I remember telling you this, I said this on the show when we did it. I was like, anytime the Dodgers were on first base, anybody, I don't care who it was, they always would score. It felt like any time it could be an error, it could be a walk, it could be a hit by pitch, a pass ball, whatever. Anytime you put a Dodger on base, they'd find a way to score. The Yankees aren't that team. They don't put pressure. They really haven't, and to be fair, the games have gotten so out of hand. Really, this last game was just ridiculous to the point where the run game can't even be in play, right?
No, it'd be almost silly to even run. But we did talk about the Boston series as well. You mentioned that, they've got a catcher who has a great throwing arm. Mm-hmm. Running isn't going to be a factor. We never ran the whole series, right? So we became a station-to-station team. Now, nobody cared because we won the series, which is got on the shoulder of Cam Schlittler. But I hear my daughter again. I don't know if you hear, but
so cute.
But it's like, if you're on the back of your arms, that's a good thing in the moment. But at some point or another, you can't win a World Series if you can't trust your offense. What World Series in any year did a team win where you're like, oh yeah, they just wait to pop a homer and then that's how they're going to go and score? It doesn't happen. And the Yankees will tell you, Jake, if Boone was in front of us, he'd say, what do you mean? Jake, what are you talking about? Jason Dominguez stole over 20 bases. Jazz Chisholm stole over 30. Guys were stealing bases. We say, yeah, that's in the regular season. Are you going to say the way that the Yankees want to go about their business is running the bases in October under pressure? That's not who we're going to try to be. You know that. You know Jazz isn't trying to get to first base to try to steal second base in postseason games. You know in reality, we're waiting on Judge to slug. We're waiting on Grisham to slug. We're waiting on Cody Bellinger to slug. That's what we're doing. So if we can just be realistic with our expectations as to what we're trying to do, we're waiting on Stan to slug instead of go 2 for 3 with low leverage hits. So you've got to really look at this team and say, how's this going to work? The biggest issue for us right now is I think our pitching is good enough, which is sad to say. Our bullpen is not. But we're not even getting to the point of the game where our bullpen can even be a factor. It's just not. We had to bring Will Warren into this game. which, Jake, I think we both agreed was the right decision. It's a shame. It really is, because we're going to more than likely go into another offseason where people are saying, oh, we need to bring in another slugger. You guys need to revamp your mentality as to how you build your teams. You move some momentum in the right direction. You need a stampede that direction.
It's one of those things. The Will Warren thing was like playing chess, and you're done. Like, it's, oh, if I go here, oh, that's checkmate. If I go here, that's checkmate. Like, either way, you're losing the game. So you might as well just move the next. You can't just not, oh, I'm not playing. I'm not finishing the game. It's like, all right, well, then I win by default, you know? So that was the thing. Like, the Yankees needed to put him in, as painful as it was. Like, they had to do it.
Had to.
And, you know, gives you potentially a chance. Now, your bullpen isn't just completely depleted. By the way, I have Carlos Rodon's career numbers against the Blue Jays.
Oh, I'd love to hear those.
I don't know if you would.
Okay, then save him.
No, I'm kidding. So Bo Bichette obviously isn't playing. He hits decent against Rodon.
Okay.
Ernie Clement has a 462 OPS. Alejandro Kirk has a 930 OPS. David Schneider has a 580. Miles Straw 322. IKF 629. Varsho 929. Then Santander 650. George Springer 784 with a 192 batting average. But I know which one you're asking about. What does Vladdy have?
I'm fairly certain I've seen Vladdy go Oppo Taco at Yankee Stadium off Rodon multiple times. So I feel like I've seen that.
588 batting average. 667 on base. 941 slugging with a 1608 OPS. He should be walked every single at bat. He's essentially the most dangerous hitter the Yankees are going to face the rest of the postseason.
This is the value. Kirk was awful in September. This is the value of Kirk getting going, right? It doesn't tell you that, oh, we've got to pitch to Vladdy because Kirk is behind him. No, you have to make your choice. Who do I want to pitch to? It's obviously Kirk. But Kirk is right-handed. He takes at-bats against left-handed pitching extremely well. It's a weapon. It is. Later on in this series, it's just a weapon. And I know some people would say, oh, I'm supposed to be worried about Kirk taking these at-bats in a postseason game. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm telling you. It's exactly what I'm telling you. They designed it so you look at these players from an individual standpoint instead of from a strategy standpoint. Toronto, when they go into these games, Springer slugs but against Rodon, but he doesn't really hit for a high clip. The Yankees and Rodon, they're going to have to control this game. He just is. And Rodon also, this is to his, shouldn't say to his credit, but something that could be used somewhat of as an excuse for why Rodon maybe won't be as sharp. There's a lot of pressure on him. He knows exactly the type of lineup he's pitching in front of. He's not going to say it. But the Yankees aren't really scoring the important runs right now. They could squeak by in a wild card against Boston. Boston's lineup was overmatched against Cam Schlittler. They just were. They had nothing for Schlittler. Nothing. Then after that, we've talked about Toronto's offense all year long. They're not going to score the most runs. They'll score the most important runs. Everyone said, oh, they're okay innings 1 through 6, but they're electric. Innings 7 through 9. Well, they've beaten the brakes off us in innings 1 through 6, which is the opposite of what everyone told us the whole year. So, Jake, based on those numbers, I would agree with you. They shouldn't be pitching to Vlad Jr., especially early in this game. You've got to keep this game close. Get this game to the bullpen. Now, I'm not telling you that the Yankees should say, oh, our bullpen can take this the rest of the way, but how else are you going to win these games? Rodon's not going to be out there for 8 innings, so you're going to have to find a way to get the Jays bullpen out there, your bullpen out there. You're going to have to find a way to scratch some runs. Very interesting. It's not good. It's not good at all, but what were our numbers against Bieber? Do you have those numbers? Because I want to see overall what those numbers look like.
They're not good. They're like hardly anybody hits off Bieber.
How does Aaron Judge hit off Bieber?
He doesn't. He's literally never had a hit off Bieber.
And how many at bats? Is it over 10?
No, it's just 7. They haven't seen him a lot.
Okay.
Like Stanton, 9 at bats. You've seen him twice. There's no home runs, by the way. The Yankees have never hit a home run off of Bieber. And that's going back to 2018.
Okay.
In Bieber's appearances, 2018, he held the Yankees to 3 runs. In 2019, in relief, no, they just blew up his start. 1 2/3 gave up 5 runs. In 2021, 7 innings, gave up 2. And in 2023, he pitched 15 innings against them. Not all at once, but,
Yeah.
4 earned runs, 10 hits, 2 home runs. So, I mean, honestly, I don't really know what you're going to get with Bieber. I'll say this. I think the Yankees are able to hit him tomorrow. I think a big reason why the Yankees are going to be able to do what they do, not tomorrow, Tuesday. We don't want to get into that again. It's not tomorrow. It's Tuesday.
That's a lot of people's favorite correction. They're like, they don't play tomorrow. They've got the off day. I'm like, oh,
it's like, all right,
please.
well, have you done 163 podcasts?
Like, please
this
spare
season? Yeah, exactly.
So you think we're going to hit Bieber? You do.
I do. I also think Rodon's going to get hit a little bit. I think the Yankees are going to have to win kind of, like they're going to have to score runs. So I'll say they win.
Okay.
I'm going to say they make us sweat it out, 5-4.
Okay. I know I predicted. My prediction also came before I even saw a game, right? So I didn't see this offense against Toronto's pitching, which, by the way, I didn't think Toronto had great pitching. They have made that point wrong. That is just, it's wrong. Especially with what Savage is doing. It's now essentially the Joker in the deck waiting for us for Game 5. But
crazy.
I genuinely haven't seen anything through the first 2 games to ever say that the Yankees are going to show up and take quality at bats and score. Can it happen? Absolutely. It's the reason the game's being played in the first place. And it's baseball. Teams win almost at 50-50 clips against each other. Good team plays another good team. It's 50-50, especially at home. More times than not, the home team wins. That's how these go. So if I had to make a prediction now and really adjust what I'm saying, I assume that we win Game 3 narrowly and we lose Game 4 based on the way things look. But I can't really look at this offense and make the assumption that it'll be high scoring. I don't even know what's going to happen with Rodon. All I'm going to say, rather than a prediction, is that the Yankees are just going to have to prove us wrong. They're going to have to go in there and say, there's no reason for me to say Trent Grisham struck out 3 times today, and they were all the important at-bats in innings 1 through 5. You're going to just have to go show me. Aaron Judge, you're going to have to show me. Cody Bellinger, you're going to have to show me that in innings 1 through 4, really when the game is decided and not 10-0, that you can go out there and be trusted in the clutch offensively as a unit. If you can't do that in front of my face, what do I look like in front of 10,000 plus people on our podcast saying, it's going to go really well against Bieber? They haven't hit against him ever in their lives, and they didn't hit in games 1 and 2. What do I look like? Saying it's just going to simply work out. You guys have to prove to the world that Toronto's offense and you are in the same building. And so far, Toronto's getting the last laugh. I do see this JJH with the super with the 5. So thank you for supporting the channel. We've got another Jays fan in the building. Can't blame him.
Burning
says
in the
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not confident because Toronto sports. Okay, that's just your anxiety talking. Nothing that's happened on the field would indicate you should be worried. Just be worried once it starts bouncing our direction, but nothing that's happened, all signs point to the Jays are just simply controlling this series. And Liam Wallace with the 5, he's even got a damn logo. Real nice. Looks like the Jets there.
maybe a Jets content creator?
Yeah, who knows? Liam, thank you for the 5. Says, does Aaron Judge's 444 batting average this postseason have to be the most empty stats you've ever seen? Yes.
Yeah, all right, here's my deal, though. I still like that he's hit it. Like,
well, yeah, we all do.
Yeah, but we did discuss this. Is this potentially, can this affect, well, this was off air, but I still agree, or I kind of have these feelings anyway. Can this affect Aaron Judge's legacy? And I do believe so, because you had mentioned how Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is having a cup of coffee in the playoffs. First time he's ever been in the playoffs. And he's already had more success than Aaron Judge. Now, obviously, not like to the T. I think Judge has like 5 postseason home runs or whatever.
Yes.
But I get your point. Your point is Vladimir Guerrero walked into this series and literally made his presence known from the get-go that he is the best player on the field at all times.
He got his hits. Like you saw today, Vladdy was 3 for 5, okay? 3 for 5. For those of you who watched the whole game, there was a point in the game where there was nobody on base and he slapped a single into right center field and they're like, oh, Vladdy is just having himself a game, right? That hit was meaningless, okay? Those hits go towards your overall stats, right? Still glad that they happened. They're still impressive. Good. That's a standalone event from the other, Jake, here's the point. The other standalone event, do you know really Vladdy's only important at bat today? Came with the bases loaded against Will Warren. It's the knockout blow. And then in game 1, he shows up and throws another blow, inning 1. Hits a home run, right? Puts a run on the board. He didn't slap a single to left field and they go, oh, technically it's a hit. He got a rally started. We're not looking to start rallies with Vladdy Jr. They're not looking to have Aaron Judge start a 2-out rally by spraying a ball the other way. You're on this team to get the big hit, to take the big at bat. That's why you're here. So you can hit 444. And again, that's impressive in its own right. But the key at bats, which is what we were waiting to see, what he does in the clutch, what he does when you say, oh, this is for the game. Aaron Judge has come up with the bases loaded. They have to pitch to him. This is great. Grab your popcorn, mom and dad, get to the TV. Oh, he strikes out. He chases ball 4. That's the at bat. That's really how you should be judged, Jake. That's where your legacy is built. So happy about the 444. It's still good. It's good. That's not why you're here. So Vladdy Jr. is upstaging him in the biggest way possible for his cup of coffee, and you just have to tip your cap. He's showing up big time.
No, I get that. I definitely get that. Ed W. is saying problem number 1, Yanks don't play baseball. What do they play, Ed? No, I agree. They're not. When you watch the two teams, they're not even playing the same sport right now. They're just not.
Not really.
That'll change, I think, at the stadium. I think the Yankees will have more confidence. I think because that's the thing. It goes back to what we were talking about with Will Warren. If you give up 3 runs in 5 innings, but the 3 runs you give up are in the first inning, and Rodon gives up 3 innings over the 5 innings, but they're spread out, or let's just say 6 innings, right? Because that's better. You gave up 3 runs right off the rip. That just sucks the soul out of my offense. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah.
Now I'm like, I'm down 3-0 before I can even swing a bat.
The game almost turned low leverage by the 4th inning. Like,
dude, that's insane.
What game am I playing?
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Is like the Yankees are going to need to get back to being able to play normal baseball. This hasn't even been normal. Like, I'm sorry, they've been out of both games early on. They need to get back to that because then they can go back to what they were doing. The thing that was making the Yankees scary is that they, at a moment's notice, they'd get a runner on and they're stealing bases. They're not playing station to station.
Right.
The Blue Jays, by the way they're playing, are forcing the Yankees to play at the tempo they want them to play at, and they are playing station to station baseball because, like you said, why are you stealing if you're down 7?
It turns you into what the Yankees were in 2021. 2020.
No, it turns the Yankees into what they were when they were like struggling in
June
and July.
But that's like essentially all I'm saying is that it turns the Yankees into playing the brand of baseball that waits for the home run. The Toronto Blue Jays, they've got good pitching, really good pitching, and if you look at their offense, they're designed as like basically the exact opposite of what you are. This is the exact opposite. Nothing of what they're doing. They're not trying to, they don't think, could I leave the yard in this at bat? When Ernie Clement gets to the plate, he hit a home run. He didn't get up to the plate thinking, I should probably find a way to go deep here. But if Anthony Volpe got up to the plate, I bet you he is. I bet you he is. I bet you Austin Wells, if he got up to the plate, he's thinking about getting a pitch center so he can leave the yard and put up a crooked number. That's the way the Yankees are going about it. And it's not the way to play. But first and foremost, our starting pitching has to keep us in a game so we can even put ourselves in a situation to not blame the offense, because I still do. But how much can you blame the offense when you give up 13 runs? So we did a bit of both in this show. Lorraine, thank you for the 2. We really appreciate the support. I know Jake and I both do. And Ness with the 5, thank you. Says there needs to be accountability and your players should be held responsible. I mean, guys, he can't. It's not like he can put belt to ass. It's not there. Aaron Judge didn't come through in key situations. Grisham, right? Bellinger, Rice, all of them came. They've had at bats in high leverage. No one came through. Nobody. So Ness says, why would Boone say that he expects us to win Game 3? We need to. Well, that's what he should say. He should say he expects us to win Game 3, because if you don't win Game 3, then it's off-season time. It is.
Yeah.
So you should, if you're a manager, when you're at this stage, I don't care what your team looks like, how it's looked, you lose 40-0 both games, you should find a way to expect to win. If you don't expect to win, why are you showing up? So I don't have a problem with anything Boone said about his expectations for Game 3. This falls on the players. Go out there now and put up a fight, because as of now, Jake, it just hasn't been a fight. Had a lot of supers and a loss. This is, guys, we really appreciate the support.
Yes.
My Milkshakes with the 5 says, do the Yanks go for a big fish this offseason or add supportive pieces? It's ironic that this is said, because I think the perception, Jake, and I want to know what you think about this. When you say, do the Yankees go after the big fish? I think the way our brains are wired now is, if I sign a Kyle Tucker, does it solve all the Yankees' problems? I think that's how the Yankees fans are conditioned now, is that if you look to sign a big free agent, it's just inherently understood that we're going to sign that big free agent and do nothing else. We're not going to go get the complimentary players. And my Milkshakes, this is where I say to you, you should have expectation if there's a big fish out there like a Kyle Tucker, you can go get said player and still go get supportive pieces. You're allowed to do that in a sport with no salary cap. So I want the Yankees to do both there. Get the best players that you can acquire. That's the job. Jake, how do you feel about this? Because I think the perception is, do you just get Kyle Tucker and let Grisham and Bellinger and all these guys walk and they call those supportive pieces? What's your mentality for the offseason?
Oh, man. Like what I would do or what they would do?
Well, we know what they would do. They're going to probably let Grisham go and bring back Belly, and they'll probably sign some relievers, right?
Yeah, I mean, what I would do is this. I would actually stop acting like a pansy and remember that I have one of the biggest payrolls out there.
It's fair.
And I wouldn't hold myself back.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't put a self-imposed cap on myself. Especially because what are you really gaining? Like, really think about this. The Yankees didn't even have a first-round selection, and they lost Juan Soto. Do you know what they got in return? They got like a third-round pick for Juan Soto. Like, compensatory picks are awful in this sport. They're awful. They've been ruined.
They act like it's the NFL. Like, you get to throw your compensation pick
I think
into the
picks in the
secondary.
NFL suck too. They
Right.
used to be good.
They're dumb.
They used to be good. If I lose the number one free agent, I get a third-round pick. But that, fine. Like, that used to be good. Now it's like the number 2 is like you're going to get a fourth-round pick. Like, it's not the same. So, for me...
What is the benefit? Because I think the average Yankees fan that listens to this show, the average fan says, well, the benefit clearly is that if your payroll and you put a self-proclaimed cap, you designed it yourself. That's from Hal Steinbrenner. We're going to spend $300 million. And the benefit is that if you spent $325, they're going to charge you twice as much in the tax. So if you spend an extra $25 million, that's an extra $50 million that you're really paying. But if the Yankees were $50 million better, let's say, and they actually spent that money correctly, you guys have a better opportunity to go to the division series, to the win the division, go to the World Series. You just end up making more money. If you look at all the teams in sports, whether it be the LA Rams, whether it be the Golden State Warriors, the Golden State Warriors weren't worth two craps 15 years ago. Nothing. Were they an NBA franchise still worth something? Of course. But guys, they're now one of the most valued franchises in the history of sports. Why? Because they won. That's the only reason. That is the only reason the Golden State Warriors are valued where they are, which is like $7 or $8 billion. It's winning. So if you're the Yankees and you spend an extra $15 to $20 million because you say, let me go get a Kyle Tucker and bring back Cody Bellinger and bring in a couple complimentary guys at the pen, right? You do it all. You have a mega 09 offseason for the Yankees, right? You have that offseason. You're going to make that money back anyway. Jake, Ohtani signed with the Dodgers and people are like, can you believe it? They're giving Ohtani $700 million. No one's worth $700 million. And then we saw a report 6 months later and they said the Los Angeles Dodgers have already made $75 million months into the deal because of the advertising. Just by signing one player to a mega contract, the money going in comes right back out the other side. I don't get it.
Yeah, I would just say this, okay? I looked up what you get with the luxury tax and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You preserve draft picks, which I laugh at this because this wasn't a deal until Rob Manfred made it something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, preserving, you didn't just lose all your draft picks. That's like new, and it's entirely to deter excessive spending, have competitive balance, right?
Which in turn, you should just start spending over the top of it. If they're going to take away from you by spending, the only way to solve it is not to stop spending and let them just zap you.
Yeah.
It's just to spend right over the top of it. That's the answer.
So, no, you're absolutely right. So here's the deal, okay? The entire point of staying below and under the luxury tax is to avoid penalties, which again are they've become more strict over the years because Rob Manfred's obsession with trying to balance the league when honestly he should just be forcing the smaller teams to spend. But anyway,
correct.
The financial flexibility, and because like think about it, if you put all your money in say player allocation, which is what we call contracts, all of that, right? That's taking away investment money in scouting, data analytics, player development. So there's that. Also, if you're below the threshold for a year, it resets the penalty status to the lowest tier. So I think that was kind of the idea that Hal had when he wanted to, kind of set back for a year because you could reset it. Here's my
What
thing.
year was that he set back?
No. He said last year. Going into this year in the offseason with Juan Soto. I think basically he was saying we're going to go after Juan Soto. Don't expect much after that. Here's the deal.
Nice.
Juan Soto was not signed. Then they went after, guys and whatnot. My thing is, I don't think the benefits are really there for staying under the cap. The draft picks, guess what? Ben Rice was an 11th round draft pick. So I could have gotten him anyway without losing my first. Like if I lost my first round pick, I missed out on Anthony Volpe, but I could still get Ben Rice in the 11th round. By the way, the Yankees have been doing a great job, not only just developing prospects, they've completely changed how they, evaluate their farm system. They've been getting guys in trades, moving a Carlos Narvaez, getting an ERC. We looked at that at first and we're like, this is intriguing. We look at it now.
Cam Schlittler didn't come out of the first round.
Exactly. So that's the thing, Gary, is that I don't really see the benefits of staying below the luxury tax. I think it's honestly stupid. And honestly, I just think that there's a bigger issue on the other side. Everyone worries about the spending. The more I've been covering the Yankees and really just baseball in general, the more I realize there's an issue in this league, but it's not the extensive spending. It's the fact that there's a lot of teams, the majority of teams, that are being bailed out by the bigger teams, as we explained. Those teams
Oh,
aren't
the sharing
spending money. Yeah,
they're forced to
revenue
share the money. It's ridiculous that they
It's
do
so
that.
stupid.
So really the answer to this question is that people are afraid to go for the big fish. It's the reason why there's so much stigma on Kyle Tucker. They're like, oh, we can't go get Kyle Tucker, because their perception is it would be a Kyle Tucker and like a David Robertson signing, right? And that would be your offseason. That's the perception, because people are already putting in their mind, you can either get one big piece or you can get 4 medium-sized pieces. So the answer, milkshakes, is to go out there and get both of them. That's our answer. And David L with the 2. David's got the most random supers. $2.13 super. We really appreciate the support, David. Says knew it was over, bottom second, Toronto to the ALCS. I don't blame you. Yeah, we all knew the game was over right away. And Ness with the 2 says, LOL, I don't feel good with Rodon. Yeah,
the last time I saw him, I was disappointed, truthfully.
That's fair. I think we both know, Jake, that there's a high ceiling for what Rodon can do.
Yes.
There's a really low floor. So it's all over the place.
Well, I think it's been kind of reminded, right? You're watching Savage, you watch Cam Schlittler, you watch Scooble, you watch Crochet. These guys, while they're great, like having Rodon and Fried this year, I mean, I said that they were the best duo, and they probably are, because there's not like a 1-2 punch as good as that. Which, ironically, I think Schlittler's better than both, but that's not the point. The point I'm making is that the glass has shattered, and Yankee fans are seeing, oh, our best is nowhere near a Scooble, which I'm going to defend.
God.
I'm going to defend you here. This is why you've been so adamant about getting Skeens, and I get it. Because think about this. If you next year come into the season with Skeens, Cole, Rodon, Fried, and Schlittler, everyone's getting schlitted on. Who the hell is... If Schlittler's your 5, which he wouldn't be, like, technically he's probably 2 behind Skeens, if we're being honest.
It just shows you that I was looking to go to the next level. That if I'm going to go win, I need Garrett Cole, the healthy version of Garrett Cole. The chances that Garrett Cole has Tommy John and he shows back up in 2026 and looks like Cy Young Garrett Cole is very, very rare to happen. It's very unlikely. Having said that, now you have to ask yourself, which pitcher is it who would pitch Game 7 of the World Series next year? Of all the pitchers who are on our roster, the answer absolutely right now is Cam Schlittler. Yeah. That is not it. Now, mind you, I am very high on Cam Schlittler. He just got here.
I'm trying to figure out a way for him to somehow pitch the 4th game and the 5th. Like, that's what
I know.
Like, is there any way?
Because I tell you right now, Ness, I can guarantee you, Ness wouldn't feel good if Rodon was pitching Game 7, or let's say Game 5, where we end up winning these 2 games. Ness wouldn't feel good about Rodon pitching Game 5. Ness wouldn't feel good with Max Fried. Didn't you just watch Game 2? Would you feel good with Max Fried pitching that game? I wouldn't. The only game you should feel just good in, it's not a guarantee, but the only game you should feel really good about is Cam Schlittler's start. That's it. It wouldn't be Heel. It certainly wouldn't be Warren. It wouldn't be Yarborough if they flipped him the ball in double barrel. No. The Yankees really have one guy who's even walking close to the upper echelon, and we saw that already in the wild card. So, yeah. Ness, I don't blame you.
Yeah. Fried, it's weird, by the way. Fried has had really good numbers against Vladdy Guerrero. Really good. Until today.
This is also a good point. I brought this up pre-show. Apex brings this up. So, Apex, thank you for getting in the live chat. It says Cam Schlittler got smoked by Toronto last month. He was smoked so badly that he claimed that he was tipping pitches. Now, he could be correct, technically. Definitely can be correct. Players tip pitches all the time. I said at the time, Jake, you also agreed, we didn't like that was what was said, but Toronto can come into a Game 4 and say, well, Cam Schlittler is an awesome front of the line rotation guy here in the future, or even in the now, but at least we've seen some success, right? We've seen success against him, so that has to be their mentality. It just has to be. So Apex, again, thank you for getting in the live chat, also being a mod of ours. And Scott Ross with the 5, Thank you, Scott. Says Stanton has been a great player, but as long as he's clogging the DH, it's hard to make any meaningful changes. We are probably 2 lineup pieces away. It's so difficult, Jake, because we just know what he can be in October, and it's like, when do you pull the plug? Like, what could it be?
Not after today. He showed you some life, So
yeah, we both agree that let's just say he plays, right?
Yeah.
He plays in the game. We lose game 3, hypothetically. How do the Yankees look at their future, right? Jason Dominguez, not a good fielder. Aaron Judge may need to start DHing here in 2026. We don't know what the elbow is going to look like, what they tell us in the offseason. Do they make a decision on Stan? We have no idea. We're not the GMs, but how would you look at this? Because there are a lot of people, anytime we start losing, people start talking about the clogging of the DH, which is true, but yeah, how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm almost wondering, if this is setting up for the Yankees to have to clear some room. Because, right now they have a bunch of... you could just make an argument for anyone, right? Volpe, they could be like, well, he hits good in the postseason, and he just had a bad year, and he was banged up, and we believe he'll be better next year, whatever, right? It'll be somewhat cheap. Then you have Austin Wells. But we feel like next year's Austin Wells' year, and you start to realize you can make an excuse for everyone. Like Ryan McMahon, you can be like,
every time.
But he came on at the end of the you see what I'm saying? So
yes, I do.
I almost feel like that would almost signal, if they could, a trade for Skeens would likely involve some of these players and their pitching prospects, and then it kind of solves all the issues. Because then
it does. The problem is that Skeens is
insert
unlikely
him.
To be traded.
Well, no, I know, but let's just say maybe not even Skeens. If you want to go after, Joe Ryan or whatever.
Yeah, I see.
You kind of clear the way, and then your rotation is the best in baseball tomorrow.
Yeah, no, that's one way you can always look at off seasons. Is
and it's
that
like a reset.
We're stacked up on top of each other. Yeah. Some players are in each other's way. They're talented, but you're in this player's way. How about I move one of you two, and I clear that, so now we don't have that problem, that clogging, and I can also solve another problem. Which the problem really is that the Yankees have a lot. I would say Fried is a very good pitcher. Obviously, he has to be on to be very good. We saw a majority of the year he was on, but he doesn't wipe anyone away with his stuff. He just doesn't. Rodon, same deal. When he's on, he's on. But he very easily can just be off, and he doesn't get up off the mat. I would even say at this point that Rodon has been more reliable than Fried in this year. I think Rodon actually has been our most reliable guy, outside of Schlittler, who just showed up. So the Yankees probably need another arm that they say, I trust him when it's all said and done. And we don't really have that. So, Scott, we'll see what they do to unclog DH. Because Jake and I, we said when this podcast started, we're like, what does Stanton really do? And then all of a sudden he showed us in October, this team can't survive. Even with Soto and Judge, we need his presence go at all where we need to go. But when we start losing, it's like we've got a DH. We can't use other guys as DHs. It's easy to point the finger at, I will say. And Brandon Lee with the 5 says the Rays thought this about Savage. Schneider pitched him again. The Rays were even worse the second time around. That's an interesting point, right? Sometimes experience doesn't really do you anything. We've seen Garrett Crochet.
I don't think did we see him a lick. It was just more so, I think that's what they're hoping for at this point.
What would you predict would happen, just real quick? What would you, if Savage took them out in a game 5, how do you think that would look?
I think it would look a lot like what Skubal did tonight. I know they lost, but Skubal gave up 1 run. He had 5 hits, 9 strikeouts, 7 innings pitched. I think it'd be something like that.
Which is domination. In a postseason game, to go 7 innings and surrender 1 run is domination. And we would argue we weren't even getting a hit tonight. We were no hit by Savage. We didn't get not one hit.
100% believe if Savage went all 9 innings, he would have pitched a no-hitter. And I even defended him off air, and I said, obviously this isn't how baseball works, but it's kind of silly that he loses the perfect game because Vladdy Guerrero couldn't field a grounder.
I know.
You know what I mean? So, like,
Yeah.
honestly,
Smoltz,
in my
John
mind,
Smoltz wanted it to be a hit. I'm like, do you know what a hit is?
I know.
It wasn't a hit.
He didn't get his glove down.
It was ridiculous.
How is that a hit? Like, I don't. It's just, but the point being is that I would say, obviously, I don't matter, but you know, I would say in my book,
I don't matter.
Savage threw a perfect game through 7 or whatever, or 6. I don't even remember how long he was in.
We got lucky that the Jays scored as many runs as they did, because if they didn't score as much as they did, Savage would have been out there for 8 innings and just dominated the whole time.
That might have
thankfully
hurt them,
that didn't
though.
happen.
That might have actually hurt the Yankees, because if they just got leveled by Savage the whole time, then maybe he doesn't pitch game 5. But now it's like obvious. It's like the worst kept secret ever. He's going to pitch game 5, and the Yankees, if they get to that point, are going to be like, oh, shit.
So big brain is that we should have brought in Bednar and Williams and kept the game close enough where Savage was forced to stay in the game and throw 105 pitches.
100%.
So we could tire him out for a potential game 5. I mean, yeah, obviously we're joking, but
yeah, no.
Dilvis, thank you for the 5. Says, I don't get how in previous years this didn't happen. You would never see a team feel so comfy, hit and not do anything about it, hit by pitch, something.
I know when Ben Rice backed out of it, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, wear that, you know? It's what my coaches always used to say. Wear it.
Yeah,
like,
but also Dilvis is also talking about the intimidation factor, where you're seeing a lot of fun happening on the other side. A lot of guys just leaning into pitches and hitting homers. Guys who aren't even power bats, just spinning off of pitches and going into the upper deck.
Whatever their dances.
Putting on jackets. This is obviously a more old school fan. I get it, right? You watch a Pedro Martinez. You watch some of the... They're going to brush you back, make you uncomfortable. You hear it a lot when Aaron Judge goes deep 3 or 4 times in a series. Everyone's like, you need to throw the ball in off the plate, get him, less comfortable. And I get it. I understand where you're coming from. Dilvis, the problem for the Yankees isn't really our approach to these hitters. The Jays are going to score. The Yankees have to find a way to score themselves, and they're not scoring. So, and I see you. Thank you, Apex, with the 2. Says, we get swept, eat Stanton's contract, youth team. I hate the concept of youth team. I hate hearing
I just feel
young
like that,
team. I hate it.
Yeah, well, because it comes off like when you say that, it comes off like you want to blow it up and like rebuild. And the Yankees just aren't, no matter what you want them to be, they're not a rebuild team. They're a big market. That's literally the perk. It's like if you've ever played like one of those strategy games and you're like, oh, if you play as this character, they come with this. And then if you play with this character, they don't come with any of that. So you always want to play with this character. It's like starting a dynasty and you play with the Yankees and you're like, I know I have all this money, but I'm not going to participate in free agency. Like,
if you go young, right, with the youth movement, how do you expect? Because people are like, oh, Garrett Cole will be back. Oh, Aaron Judge. Hey, remember Aaron Judge? Aaron Judge, let me go ahead and click his name in the box score. He is 33 years old. And I don't know about you guys.
3 years older than like the average free agent.
Right. But when you go into next season, when we talked about this about 5 months ago, we said, how many more prime seasons of Aaron Judge do you think we're going to get? Now, what we mean by that is people say, well, Judge doesn't play well in October anyways. We're like, we know. But what we're telling you is that he only has a certain amount of cracks left to right the ship in high leverage. Those bases loaded at bats that you saw in game 1, that at bat that he failed miserably against Gaussman, there's only going to be a certain amount of years left in his career. And it probably looks like 2 or 3 seasons where he looks like this version of himself, where he's the perennial MVP type guy. You don't wait on young players to materialize, whether it's Spencer Jones or Jason Dominguez, so that 2 years down the road, they're key contributors. And now Aaron Judge, a player who easily is a better player than what any of those young players will ever be. Why would you wait on the youth when you've got a player who's going to leave his prime of attempting to fix this? The Yankees are forced, by way of who's on their roster now, to go for it every single year. There is no option otherwise. None. You don't spend $200 million, $180 on Rodon, $205, $210 plus on Fried, and you're going to go young, no. Doesn't happen.
No, I get that. Yeah. I love how simplistic this is. We get swept, eat Stanton's contract, youth team. Like I love the way that was worded.
It's very direct and to the point.
T-bag or T-ball. Everyone hates the Yankees, even the fans.
We don't hate the Yankees.
Super chat.
We love to believe we can fix them with our solutions. That's really what you're seeing. Yankees fans, especially Yankees fans who are older than 25 years old.
No, I'm kidding.
If you're older than 25, you've seen good Yankees baseball. You've seen it.
Yeah.
And especially Yankees fans who are over the age of 40 and 50, they'll tell you, I know the difference between the versions of the Yankees that were working and the versions of the Yankees that stopped working. And what's the disparity there? Yankees fans don't love to hate the Yankees. They love to critique and try to fix them. So
I like the way
that's where we are now. And Yankee Fangirl for life with the 5. Did you want to take this one?
Yeah, why not sit Grish, play Dominguez, where he supposedly plays better in center, keep Belly in left, and Judge in right. Yeah, I mean...
Would you do that?
I'm kind of over Grisham right now. I don't like his at-bats. No, I really am, Gary. I don't like his at-bats at all.
No, I understand.
And
it
so...
putrid today.
And I'm just kind of like, I understand that sounds lame because I'm like, he hit 34 homers and all that. But hear me out. You mentioned this. He was struggling at the end of the season. And he was starting to hit a lot of home runs, but he was struggling. And it's like, I just said to start this show, Jason Dominguez is more like a Toronto Blue Jay than he is a New York Yankee. Maybe adding that to the lineup could help.
Could. And Dominguez also played well in September. So
yeah,
you could make the argument that he's good enough to play in these games. Defensively, maybe not. But offensively, he was actually doing the right thing. The reason he's not playing is because Giancarlo Stanton has a pedigree of hitting in October.
It's the only
I know.
Oh my God.
It's because Giancarlo Stanton in history has shown he's a great October hitter. It's the only reason Jason Dominguez doesn't play. So now that we have Trent Grisham, who's fallen off a cliff offensively, maybe the Yankees make the decision that Jason Dominguez will get the start, and you throw Cody Bellinger in center field. Who knows? I dig it.
He struck out 8 times in how many at-bats? 8 times in 18. No, 8 times in 20 at-bats he struck out. And he has 3 hits.
He's 3 for 20?
Mm-hmm.
He's 3 for 20 with 8 strikeouts.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot win baseball games when your leadoff hitter is doing that. He's been leading off.
He's walked twice.
He's taken 20 official at-bats and walked twice. You guys don't think postseason changes the way that these guys perform? I'm not talking about the lineup. I'm talking about the power bat. The guy who hits 35 homers, hits 240, right? Doesn't get any singles because they say singles are for the weak guys, right? Their batting average doesn't matter. These guys stop hitting. There you have it. It is. So, Yankee Fangirl, thank you for bringing this up. I do think there's some merit to that. I think Jason Dominguez really should be given an opportunity to play over players who are not playing well. I think that's a pretty simple thing. And Yankee Fangirl for Life also has another 2 here. Says, then you keep Stanton at DH. Yeah. Because Stanton, technically, you mentioned he did have some hits today, which still is worth something.
Yeah.
And Stanton can flip the switch in a hurry. We've seen it happen before. Whereas, when have we ever seen Trent Grisham turn the switch on in October? He's never even turned it on for regular season baseball until this year. So, if any player's going to be benched, it's probably between Stanton and Grisham. It's probably Grisham. So, I like that point.
Stephen Kwan in our mentions, and he was available during the deadline or whatever. I still don't know if I buy it. I know that was around, but I don't know. Stephen Kwan is a Toronto Blue Jay type of hitter.
I would love Stephen Kwan. You know what I think.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like, let's say he's like Ernie Clement in left field. He's going to come through, doesn't have a ton of power, don't care, at all.
Nope.
And mind you, they tried this, but you know what they did it with? They did it with Alex Verdugo. They tried to have the contact bat. I'm worried Alex Verdugo is literally the gift, that the opposite of a gift that keeps on giving. Like, they're
right, but that's also
they
Stephen
tried.
Kwan. Oh
No,
my God,
exactly.
they tried. That's Verdugo. Verdugo stinks.
No, but do you see where I could be worried about that?
No,
Think about
they're
this.
basically going to gaslight you and say, we tried it, it doesn't work. Please.
Yes, that's exactly it. So hear me out, right? What if the Yankees, I know this is a nightmare, so I apologize, but that's how we do it.
This is a nightmare.
What if the Yankees saw last year and they're like, we tried, Alex Verdugo, we flattened Volpe's swing and you guys didn't like it. And now they're like, all right, home runs. We're going to go and get Joey Gallo and Joey Votto and Adam Dunn. Like,
they definitely could try and say, we tried the contact approach. The contact approach didn't work. And then we said, no. Contact doesn't mean slapping ground balls in DJ LeMahieu ground balls to second and shortstop. That's not what contact hitter means. Contact hitter is us saying those words, but in actuality, it means the ability to get a hit in all types of situations. That's what a contact player is. Man on second base, 2 outs. I can slap a ball the other way, right? I can beat the shift. I can slap a ground ball opposite field and move a guy from second to third base. Really a description that you would have about 2 of our 9 hitters in our lineup. So I'm not here to say the Yankees have a bad lineup. What I'm telling you is we don't have enough contact hitters. So if a Kwan is available, you just say Verdugo and his talent, if it was here, Kwan is off the screen.
yes.
So if you could get a player of that nature that's not just putting the ball in play just for the sake of putting it in play and saying I don't strike out, so look at me, here's my strikeout rate, but they also acquire hits, and they've shown that in their career. Kwan has shown that. So again, if he's possibly available, it doesn't even have to be a player of that skill level. If he's available, awesome. But even players, you saw it today with Clement, we need more players like Clement. We need more players, and I know, Jake, you'll hate this. We need more players like a Kirk, where they'll slap a ball the other way and it doesn't bother them that they didn't leave the yard.
I get what
we need
you're
more players
saying.
like that.
We just need players that actually care about, being fit. But anyway.
Yeah.
But apologies to Canada after your loss Tuesday are required. Why the hell am I apologizing? I appreciate the donation, but I ain't apologize for shit.
Why would we need to apologize? 2 podcasters for the Yankees? Because I told you, Jake, people are just, they strive for credit. Give our team credit. We're the best.
This, as far as I'm concerned, the kids would call this the Savage Glaze show, because we literally just were nonstop talking about Savage and how amazing he is. I don't have to apologize to anything.
No,
but I appreciate the super.
Thank you for the super, Jackie James. Really appreciate it. And Jeff, thank you for the 5. Says Judge is never going to win a World Series. He shrinks in big games. So far, he shrinks in big at-bats. That's what I would say. Tired of him. Don't care about the gaudy stats. Yankees are measured by rings. I don't have any... Guys, he's hitting 444. He's 8 for 18. None of those hits are in key at-bats. Still impressive to hit 444. But is it the way that we judge Yankees? Like, is his 444... Are we going to walk into the offseason and be like, well, Judge wasn't at all the issue? No, Judge is still just kind of intertwined in this losing effort. So, Jake, I think if he was coming through in that bases loaded at bat, but we still showed up and lost today in this way, I think we probably absolve Judge with responsibility of what's happening, but he's still every bit in the mix as far as what this offense looks in key situations. So, Jeff, I won't talk you off the ledge, my man. That's the way you feel. Go ahead.
I do want to point this out, okay? Like Derek Jeter in 1999 World Series, or the postseason in general. He hit 375, right?
Yes.
He had a 434 on base percentage. Paul O'Neill hit 250. He had a 563 OPS. Paul O'Neill is considered a legend. I love Paul O'Neill.
Yes.
It's not to badger Paul O'Neill. Tino Martinez had a 746 OPS, right? Jorge Posada hit a 182 and he had a 626, right? Ricky Leday, who was a hero in another postseason, hit 761 OPS, 241. The point I'm making here, and this is where I think we have to be a little bit more fair to Judge, because I feel like what's not fair is people are using his whole career in the postseason against him right now. And I feel like
there's no doubt
him right now. And
but it is fair to say that he didn't come through in big at bats, but he also was putting up these 444 numbers that you see. He was not coming through in big at bats, but he also had poor overall stats. So people were just like, "Oh, he sucks in October." But now this year, he's good in low leverage, bad in high leverage. So people really, what they're telling you as Yankees fans is that we only care about the high leverage. So you may mention that Jeter had worse stats than what Judge overall has right now. That's true, right? Some of these guys in key situations, 98 Yankees, you're like, well, he didn't hit 444. That guy hit 280 in October. But in key spots, would I rather have a guy hit 260 in the postseason, but the 260 came through with the bases loaded against Gausman? I think if Judge came through in that situation and it was damn near his only hit in the postseason, we probably are like, oh, Judge is absolved from responsibility. He came through when we needed him to come through. He's kind of coming through at the moments that you don't need, and then he's not in the moments you do. So I hear what you're saying. It's hard to be disappointed about 444 because people are kind of dragging him down based on what happened in 2024. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, did Judge not realize that he was coming in October and people were going to judge him when the bases were loaded or there's
Judge
a man on third?
Care. No, he doesn't. He doesn't care about that. But my thing here is that I just want to be fair. Like we just talked about, earlier, mm-hmm. I was saying Bernie Williams was the best in their lineup, right? I think it was 96. But 98 against the Padres, he hit 188. He had a 598 OPS. Other guys stepped up. Judge has had other guys step up last year, Soto and Stanton. But has he really had other guys step up? Like Stanton, that's been it. So it's not... It's one of those things like where he didn't get Scott Brocious hitting 383 and over 1,000 OPS, or Ricky Leday, or Darryl Strawberry, who was insane. I don't think people realize how important Darryl Strawberry was to the postseason Yankees teams. But my point is that there isn't one of those guys right now. If you look at the Yankees roster, you look at their lineup in the postseason, the best batting average after Aaron Judge right now is Ryan McMahon. Qualified. Obviously, Goldschmidt's hitting 571, but he's not qualified. He's not playing enough. Ryan McMahon is playing enough, and he's hitting 273. Mm-hmm. After that, Ben Rice, 267. We were just complaining about Ben Rice. And then Anthony Volpe, 263. Those are your three highest average hitters. Cody Bellinger's hitting 211. He had a home run today, but he's hitting 211, right? Trent Grisham, your leadoff hitter, isn't leading off. He's not setting the table. He's hitting 150. His on-base percentage is 227. Aaron Judge is getting up more often than not with nobody on.
So you're right. Aaron Judge, from a technical standpoint, this season is different than any other season the Yankees have played. Mm-hmm. More times than not, when the Yankees go in October, Stanton is hitting, Soto's hitting. Yeah. Everyone else is doing what they're supposed to be doing. And was it good enough to go win the World Series? Maybe not. But you can absolutely make the argument that in 2024, if Aaron Judge looked like the way he probably should look in these situations in high leverage, the Yankees could have won the World Series. But again, that's a huge if. It's a hypothetical. So really what I'm telling you is that while I'm proud of Judge for hitting 444, and that's good, all of these stats, like when I look at Springer hitting 250, or I look at, obviously Vladdy's hitting 667, so that's a little bit of a different story, but I see Kirk hitting 333. Kirk has had way more impact on this series than Aaron Judge, and he doesn't have as good of stats. 333 is not close to as good as 444, and yet that's how you could look at the stats. So
I get what you're saying. I would also say like Kirk is set up, whereas like the better comparison would be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And that's
sure, but also Judge was set up in game 1. That's the issue, is that Aaron Judge was set up in game 1 to win the game. We should have won the game. Aaron Judge showed up with the bases loaded and 0 out. You should win that game. We weren't down 4 runs. If we were down 4 runs and you're like, oh, if he hits a grand slam, it's tied. That's being ridiculous. They had 2 runs. It was a 2-1 game. And you show up with the bases loaded and nobody out and you strike out in that moment. What do I care if you had 2 knocks when I didn't need them? So I get it. You're wanting it to be fair because he is performing, right? He's performing.
And it's such a small sample size, and also keep this in mind.
It's short for everybody.
So he's had 2 hits in back-to-back games, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So for him to come through in every spot that everyone wants him to, and I'm not saying you're wrong for thinking that, he's had 2 hits in just about every game except for game 3.
Yes.
So he's come through in the low leverage moments, but he didn't. But honestly, he's hitting 2 for 4 in every game except for that one. And really, what it is that people are asking him to hit 3 for 4 or 4 for 4, and it's like that's not.
They're asking you to time your hits better is actually what we're asking for. I would even argue David Ortiz, right, in 2004.
Yeah.
Perfect example. David Ortiz, if we wiped away 75% of the hits that he had in the series in innings 1 through 6, Boston still would have beat us because he finds a way to time, and this is key. He was electric in high leverage. That's what lost us the series, is what David Ortiz did in high leverage. That's literally why you lose, is because we can call it short sample sizes. All these teams have to deal in short sample size. Toronto beat us in the division, and they have to show up and play 2 home games. That's a short sample size, and yet they deal with the expectations of a short sample size. Now we go back to Yankee Stadium. How long can we say it's just short sample size? Judge has to be good in high leverage. So the overall numbers are improving, which is progress. It is progress. He's never done even this.
No, but he hasn't. I don't think people get that.
But if he's not good in high leverage situations, the Yankees physically cannot win the World Series at any point in their near future. It is not possible. So he has to figure out, why am I not great in high leverage? Whether it's fair or not, I could be hitting 600 for the series. And if all of those hits happen in innings 1 through 5, and every time I come up with the bases loaded or in a situation, which to your credit, Jake, you're right, the Yankees lineup isn't doing a lot to put him in situations enough to where we can say, oh, Judge is the problem all the time. No, he was just the problem in game 1. But Judge has to realize there may be only 1 or 2 opportunities a whole series where I can put my stamp on it, and he hasn't put a single stamp on a series yet. And that has to happen. It just has to.
No, I agree with that. I'm thinking like there's no, something has to be balanced. I think the criticism is ridiculous. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. The criticism is
it's overboard, but
it's like, I'm sorry,
it will affect how he's viewed. There's just no question.
No, and I mean I told you, like, I agree. I think this is going to hurt his legacy, you know, if he can't get past and win a World Series. But like at the same time, I mean, we're talking about a guy that's hitting 444 and has over 1,000 OPS when last year, this point last year, okay, I'll tell you exactly where Judge was at, right? I'll tell you exactly, because I want people to understand what we're talking about here. So Aaron Judge, after game 2 against the Royals in the ALDS, Judge was hitting 143 with a 476 OPS. His slugging was 143.
It was ridiculous.
He was horrendous. He hadn't had a home run. He only had 2 hits to this point.
Yep.
2. So it's one of those things, and like I see it, like, but if he doesn't come in clutch, it doesn't matter. I think that's hogwash, because who are we to say that these hits don't matter? Every hit, every at bat is like you're essentially deconstructing a tower, which is a pitcher, and you're weakening them. You're getting after them. You're increasing, their pitch count. I just can't subscribe to the notion that it doesn't matter. He's had 2 spots, well, 3, and he came through on one of them. He had a single today. I understand it wasn't hugely high leverage, but it was the bases loaded, and he came through and he had a single. Gary, what did people do? They complained. Oh, that's not slugging. He didn't hit a double that knocked in.
There's
3.
no reason to complain in that moment. There's no reason for it.
Where the people that were right, they were right. They're now becoming wrong because they've gone too far one way. Understand this. I am with you. Aaron Judge has not done enough in the postseason. You and I, Gary, believe, or we did going into this postseason, that he was going to. He was going to right his wrongs. And honestly,
we both made
he's
that
running
prediction.
out of time, whether it's his fault or not. I don't believe it's his fault. I think, honestly, the starting pitcher that they just paid all that money to, that didn't help today either. But point being, we are in agreement that it is an issue and he needs to do more in those high leverage situations. But the problem is it doesn't stop there. And I understand, people get really frustrated and, it sucks. You're staring, right down the barrel for game 3. This is the elimination game. If you do not win, you are gone. And I get that. And we've stuck around. We've watched a lot of games together. We've covered all these games. We've done tons of podcasts. I get that. But I just want a more rational approach. I understand that's asking a lot when you have fans that are like, it's short for fanatic. But I want a more rational approach when talking about Aaron Judge, because just saying he's trash, he sucks, he's not coming through, I just can't subscribe to that, because I do feel like the best hitter on the team right now, and he is by far statistically the best hitter in the postseason right now for the Yankees. I think he's pulling his weight to a degree. Would I like more? Yes. But when he is by far it's not one of those situations where it's like, oh, Stanton's coming through, Bellinger's coming through. Judge, he can't get anything.
If Judge was
going.
hitting 222, you can say, well, the common denominator to our failure is he's supposed to be the best hitter on the team. He is the best hitter on the team. Yeah. Right now he is. He's the best hitter on the team. So I hear exactly what your argument is. If Stanton was playing the way that we expect him to play, if Ben Rice, I know he had 2 knocks today. I would honestly tell you, if a lot of the guys that we expected contribution from were making contributions and Judge was hitting if Judge hit 444 with 0 clutch hits in 2024, we win the World Series.
Yeah.
0 clutch hits. If he just pulled weight in October of last year, he didn't even pull any weight at all. He was essentially carried. He hit the big home run against Clase. We gave him credit for that. We went on for 2 hours about it. They needed him to be a contributor. Aaron Judge was not a contributor for the Yankees last year in October. He actually has never been a contributor. You couldn't even say he was helping the Yankees in any way. He is helping the Yankees win games now. He's not Superman. He's not coming through in the David Ortiz type situations that we would love for him to do. But he's definitely not the reason the Yankees are losing. And Jackie James with the $14 super, we really appreciate the super, says it is over for the Wankers. 23 runs. Enjoy my donation. I mean, we definitely will. We're very appreciative of your super.
Yes,
so thank you, Jackie, for being here. Obviously, good for your Jays winning each of the first 2 games. And Ness with the 5 says, we are not a top offensive team. We are a home run hitting team that cannot hit in the postseason. Launch angle and analytics BS. We definitely need more contact. Power's still good. There's nothing wrong with the power game. I mean, the Jays signed Santander. I mean, who the hell is he? Is he a pure power bat? They signed him because he hit 45-plus homers for the Orioles. And he was a low batting average, high strikeout guy. And he was brought here to this team. It's okay to sign power bats, but what else you got? Did you bring contact in there to complement it? And it seems like the Yankees need a little bit more of that.
Well, and I also think people kind of miss the plot. I'm not signing a guy for the home runs. I'm signing him because I know he is going to slug, right? He's going to have those big doubles that knock in a bunch of runs. Like, that's what I'm getting him for. I'm not getting him for, like, 45 home runs. That doesn't really move the needle for me. Home runs are overrated. They matter. But it's like the argument I was making about Suarez. You don't just get to bring all those home runs and cash them in whatever you want if you trade for him. The whole point is that a guy that has that much power is hitting one off the wall. You know, he's going to come through and he's going to slug. And instead of singles, he's getting doubles and maybe triples if he has speed. Definitely not who I would call the closest thing to Encarnacion out there. When it comes
I see
to
what you're
Santander.
saying. Because it seems like power is like the only way people... home runs, they're like, oh, that guy, he could maybe hit 20 home runs in a season. I'm like, what if he just is a doubles guy? Like, what if Jason Dominguez, the most home runs he hits is 17? Is that acceptable?
Well, that's why it's puts the ball in the gap. With like Rafael Palmeiro, why did you take steroids when you were just a doubles hitter? That's just as good. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
probably the paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, I know, right? Because we all obsess over home runs, but if Rafi Palmeiro just, if he just stuck to hitting doubles, like, think about that.
No, I get it. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing inherently worse hitting a double than it is hitting a home run. And so I think that it's perceived like someone who hits doubles they don't have that home run power. And so I think that would be just incorrect. So Ness, thank you for obviously the super. And Scott Ross with the 5 says contact hitter means you're the effing guy who slaps a hit with a man at second and 2 outs. You're exactly right. I would say Cody Bellinger is somewhat of a contact guy. He's getting obviously a little bit of strikeout in his game lately, which isn't great, but more of what he does, right? Where he'll slap a ball the other way. We can't forget what he's done all year. He was the guy that we said we trust going into October series the most before the series, before all these games started. So we need more
had those hits, by the way.
That is true. And Boone said preseason, he said Paul Goldschmidt's the best situational hitter on the team. That was his description.
He was.
Well, that's what they were saying. And when you walk into the season, you say, look at his batting average. It's 360, 370. He was the type of guy at that time that would just slap a ball, Scott, to your point. And Jackie James with the 7, obviously, it's all love. But yeah, in a good mood, you're up 2-0 in the series. We would feel the same way. If the Yankees were up 2-0 in this situation and they were going on the road to play a game, you have to feel good. You just have to. So obviously, congrats on that. We'll see what we do from there. But Jake, let's get to our voicemails.
Yeah, real quick, I want to say I would play Rice at catcher tomorrow.
So you go Rice Goldschmidt.
I would. Okay. Look, I don't care how Goldschmidt hits against righties. I've seen him in the postseason. His approach is better than just about anybody in the lineup.
Okay. I don't have a problem with it.
I mean, I would probably go... Let's talk about that real quick. Rice, catcher. Goldschmidt, Jazz, Volpe. I'm going to stick with McMahon because he's the second best hitter on the team right now. Left field, I'm going to go with... I think I'll just keep it the way it is. Oh, no. Jason Dominguez.
Okay.
Left field. Center, Bellinger. Right field, Judge. I would put Jason in right, obviously, if he had any experience playing there. But since the Yankees failed to give him that, I'm going to keep him in left. Stanton, DH. So that's what I would say. I really do like Wells. And Wells had a huge hit, pretty much the game winner against the Red Sox. But Wells does not look good in the series. Like, it looks like it's eating at him right now. It just, like, I understand it's only 2 games, but hey, the next game is only 3, and if you lose, that's it. I haven't liked Wells' approach at the plate at all. I think he's gone away from the things that I liked in the Red Sox series, even when he was getting out. I liked the at-bats more. I did not like these at-bats against the Blue Jays. So I would rather have Goldschmidt back in there. And I think that's really kind of that's the thing. Like I would put Goldschmidt and Jason Dominguez. And to me, I feel like that right there is where you're making an adjustment to have more of a contact-oriented lineup.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, and also, yeah, Jason Dominguez is a major part of that. Put some speed out there. You don't need to try and copy and emulate what the other side's doing, but this is why in June and July, we said this is a more efficient way to play. This is why we brought it up. So when you go see a Shane Bieber, the conversation isn't going to be how much can you slug. It's going to be how much pressure can you apply. The Yankees haven't been able to apply nearly any pressure innings 1 through 5 in either of these games. You have to. It's a must.
By the way,
yeah,
I totally forgot that he had, albeit small, but good numbers against Bieber. There's no doubt in my mind he should play.
Okay. I'm with it.
So, yeah, there we are.
Sorry, Austin Wells.
I like Austin Wells, but I'm trying to stay alive here. And who do you trust more, Goldschmidt or Wells?
Well, I was going to say neither, but I guess Goldschmidt is 4 for 7 in the postseason, which is good for something. So we'll see if he plays. We'll see if Jason Dominguez plays.
Yeah. And real quick on this, what I love about this is this idea that being a Judge fan is a bad thing. Sue me for liking the best baseball player in the world. A lot of people are Judge fans, and call me crazy, but he is literally hitting 444 in the postseason when some of y'all were acting like he was going to hit 069. You know what I'm saying? I understand hasn't been perfect, but we'll see at the stadium. Anyway, let's get into the voicemails here. We got 3 of them. Ninja Hot Dog, Kyle Malay, and Guy is back.
Oh, Ninja's about to have a field day.
Oh, yeah. Look at this. No, it's not really a scroll. Okay.
At the moment, it looks like we're losing, and I'm going to be at Game 3, so it's definitely not going to end well. All I'm here to say is, fire Baboon, fire Baboon, fire Baboon, DFA everyone. We suck. We're going to have no chance anymore. This could very well be our last good year of Judge's prime, although I hate calling it that when every year in the postseason he gets basically nothing. I don't get this. It looks like there's a completely different team on the field. And from everything I'm watching, all I'm going to say is this is the real Yankees. What we saw last week with Boston, that they must have made a deal with the devil or something, because I don't know how that happened. This team is the definition of insanity. They messed up and messed up and messed up again, and then we watch another game and we think, who knows, maybe they'll win this time. And then they don't. I don't know why we used Heel in Game 1. Heel is going to be a bust. And then maybe Fried is going to be another Judge and stuck in the postseason too. You never know. At the moment, that's what it's looking like. Who knows? Maybe we come back and win later today. Maybe we do another reverse sweep like in 2017, but this is the Blue Jays, not the Guardians. So I guess we'll have to see. Fire Baboon.
Hey, Jake. He brought up the Cleveland series. We did look that up. Mm-hmm. And that was exactly what I said. I said the unfortunate part about this is going for the reverse sweep. Trey Savage is at the end of that run.
That is the issue.
That is
Otherwise,
a major
I would
snag.
literally take the Yankees. I'd have no doubt in my mind. I really think they can get after Gausman. They've done it before. Savage was the most dominant pitcher I've ever seen against the Yankees, regardless of postseason or not.
Have you ever seen us be dominated to that level?
I mean, I know Brady Singer randomly would just destroy the Yankees. Who was the Barry Zito? You see if the Yankees fits, but that Crochet is the one that I would say has given the Yankees the most fits. Yamamoto is up there, but this was on another level.
And Crochet at least is established so it doesn't sting quite as much. It definitely frustrates you. I mean, why wouldn't
And
it?
you knew it was coming, but like,
Yes.
Savage, it was kind of like, okay, we're hearing from Jays fans that are biased, right? They're,
Same thing with Boston.
But yeah, just absolutely blew me away. Like, truthfully, like, one of the best pitchers in baseball already. That dude.
The Red Sox fans probably feel the same way about Cam Schlittler. They knew who he was.
Oh,
but
that's exactly how
did they
they
think
felt.
that Cam Schlittler was going to go out there? Did Alex Cora really think that he was going to go post game and say, "Well, Cam Schlittler was perfect tonight"? Did he expect that? No, nobody did. We did. We expected. I expected to struggle in this game early. I did. They usually struggle against young pitchers that they see for the very first time. That's just what happens. But I also expected them, just like what you saw in the in Boston series against Early. He'll shut it down a little bit. We'll make our adjustments when it's all said and done. But man, when you saw those first couple innings, you're like, this is different. This is just not. This is not
so
good.
funny because someone posted. It was at Hell to Hell. Posted Trey Savage getting lit up by the Yankees AA team 3 months ago, and it's a video, and he's just getting crushed. Like, he gave up a grand slam, I believe. I'm gonna put it on now. Yep, grand slam. So, yeah, you give up 5 runs in the first inning to the Yankees, or third inning to the Yankees AA team.
How did we? I would just love. It was almost just witchcraft seeing us score against. It's like, how do they even score?
Yeah,
it's genuinely surprising.
Rafael Flores, who's no longer.
Oh, was
team.
it?
Yep.
Interesting.
But I mean,
Okay.
he was part of the Bednar trade, which I don't know. Trading Flores, I feel like we probably should have gotten more, but I'm not going to get into that. Anyway.
Yeah, Jackie James, real quick here with the 7. We really appreciate the super. Still, says Judge is already in the process of requesting a trade. Hopefully, he gets traded to the Diamondbacks, and then he'll be right here in my backyard. So, appreciate it, Jackie. Thank you for the support.
Because that's realistic.
Yeah.
All right. Kyle Malay, also known as Buzz Lightyear.
Yes, he'll definitely buzz
Bottom
5
of the
times.
Freaking fifth, and we're up down 12-0. What the actual fuck are the Yankees doing? Like, this is totally embarrassing. Blue Jays are totally sticking it up right up the Yankees' freaking butt. Like, this is freaking embarrassing. Like, what are they doing? Might as well just go home and just give it the right fuck up. Like, I'm fucking pissed right now. It's not even fucking competitive. Like,
That's true.
like 12-0, bottom 5. Are you kidding me? This is freaking embarrassing. Well, let's hope the Yankees can win 3 in a row. Even if they win 2 at home, they can't freaking win in Toronto. Max Fried, like, I don't know what the heck was wrong with Max Fried today. He's supposed to be our ace. But whatever. My daughter's mad at me because I keep yelling. And she cried because I threw my phone across the freaking room. Because the Yankees are not good for my health right now. Like, what a pathetic game this is. Bottom of the 5. Why am I still freaking watching this game?
I watched the entire
Like,
thing.
Let's all try to enjoy our nights, but how can you enjoy it when the Blue Jays gave an ass beating to the Yankees? But yeah, let's hope we can win a couple at home, at least try to come back here and
No
win
buzzing.
the
Wow.
series. But yeah, good night.
No buzzing. Appreciate you, Kyle.
I love those middle of the game voicemails. They're just perfect.
Yeah, and Kyle especially, because he's just all like wholesome and everything, but freaking hate him, like just like sticking up our butts, like.
The outing couldn't have gone. The first 2 games of the series literally couldn't have gone worse. From a technical standpoint, it's only 2 baseball games, so you only have to win 3 to win the series. That's true for any team that participates in this round ever. You could say it about any team ever, is that we technically could win 3 games in a row, but it's not great. Alex, our mod, says threw the phone across the room and no more buzz. Yeah, he's in his AirPods.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Guy. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen a Guy voicemail, so here we are.
Yeah, let it fly.
Hello, everyone. This Guy. I had kind of a voicemail all planned out today, but this game really took the juice out of all of us.
Yes.
Can't wait to hear the call. But I'm sure you're going to cover everything, so I'm still with you on the Yankees winning 2 games at home, Gary, but I'm not so positive about Max pitching Game 5, so
Right.
love to hear everything on your opinions tonight. Seems like I got something in my throat, but I'll give it a try. A while back, we were all calling for a new hitting coach in June and July, but the stats prove otherwise, that he's done a good job. It's the Yankees that need to perform in clutch situations. Looking back over his period as a manager, and especially June and July, Boone definitely didn't get this team motivated. Cashman at the trade line, every other GM knew not to go near Jake Bird, and Cashman apparently didn't pay attention because he's better than everyone else. That was a mistake. We could have gotten another good arm that would have helped balance this bullpen. Matt Blake, I know you're high on him, and I have always been too. In fact, I know him personally, my son's pitching coach at Cressy Performance. Period. But I'm seeing continuous adjustments that are not being made here. Like in spring training, he seems to have everything together. I'm just looking for a little more out of him and evaluations, I guess. It's not written in stone for me yet. It's possible Weaver has just seen $5-6 million roll off the table since his injury, and it's affected him also, which brings up his comments about the internal. And certainly don't feel like he's happy here right now. All right.
Yeah, I love that Guy brought that up. I think that's kind of an under the radar thing because we just talk about and we just kind of meme it, right? Like, oh yeah, Jake Bird is a potato. But the problem is that was a slot that the Yankees had allocated to have in their bullpen. So they gave up and he might have never played Rock Reggio, but he was playing very well in the minors. And
He was.
they gave up an asset, and they did it knowing, even though he's playing very well, we're going to get Jake Bird. He's going to be a part of our bullpen. He's going to be a spot in our bullpen. We have Jake Bird. We have Doval. We have Bednar. We have Williams. We have Luke Weaver. They planned it out. Cruz is going to come back. And then Jake Bird is a total potato, a donut, whatever you want to call him. And now the Yankees are like, well, shit, the trade deadline's up. So, like, that was their, and it's good that they still got Doval and they still got Bednar, but you can clearly see all of these were supposed to come together in unison. And that's the thing. I agree completely. I'm glad he brought that up. The bullpen is so much better than where it was, but it's not as good as what Cashman was planning on it being. And I think you can see that. They never truly replaced Jake Bird, and it's put them in this situation where it's like, who the hell do you go to in that certain spot?
Weaver was supposed to be good. He was eventually, even if he was going slow for a bit, they expected him to get healthy and get back going and looking like Luke Weaver. He is an unpitchable arm. He cannot pitch in any... People were asking us, they said... People were DMing me and emailing me saying, hey, Jake said that he's not... The email. He's not good in the 7th inning, but he's good in the 8th or 9th. Gary, what are you really saying? Are you really saying that he should pitch the 8th and 9th? I said, no, I don't want him to pitch either. I don't want him to pitch the 7th, 8th, or 9th. He should be pitching in low leverage situations where you say this is just unimportant. That's when he should pitch. And you know what? Brian Cashman should have been able to expect him to be much better this year. He has been horrible. And guys, the reason for that is because of what just happened last year. If a guy is your best, Luke Weaver was our best arm in October, by far. You can throw him the ball. He can pitch the 9th inning in high leverage. He was the guy we were trying. He was our Bednar. How do we get the ball to him? He could go multi-out, which is the most valuable arm you can have in the pen. Goes into this year and was horrifying. He was bad in every sense of the word. Bird, to your dad's credit, Jake, he predicted it, said Bird was going to be horrible. He was horrible. He's been getting destroyed in the minor leagues, so he's just dead on arrival. Doval never figured out his command, and just recently, like just now, he's finally getting any little bit of momentum the positive direction. The Yankees really don't have a ton of guys they can go to, which furthers the pressure on your rotation to be perfect. You've got to be excellent, and they've not only found a way to not be excellent in this series, they found a way to be horrible. So you're going to lose those games. So let's put the pressure first on our rotation to keep us in these games so we can look at the offense and say the whole game is high leverage, score some runs. It's just that simple. So, yeah, Guy, really appreciate the voicemail. Well done.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it, Guy. Jake Bird is like getting a PS5 and it's dead on arrival, and then you're like, oh, it's no big deal. Like, you can just send me another one. They're like, nope. There you go.
Can't do it. Sorry, gave up the assets, which people said we didn't really give up anything, which is we didn't give up a ton, that's for sure. But you still had to give up something to go get him. I'm not losing sleep over who we traded to get Jake Bird, but
Speaking
you
of
got
PS5,
nothing.
I haven't seen him in a minute.
Who?
PS5 in our comment section.
Yeah, that's true.
I haven't seen him. Cheeks missing in
I
action.
wonder where Cheeks
Where-
is. Like, where'd you go?
Like, bro, like, where are you? And then Willie Downer. Where the hell is Willie Downer?
It's insane.
I
It
know.
is. It's.
They're
They'll show
dropping
up
like
at some
flies.
point. I know. We'll see. Hopefully they show back up. We would love to have them.
Willie
But
Downer's
guys,
going to show up the day that they get eliminated. But like, see, I told you, they're terrible. Like,
it is kind of crazy, right? Like people become part of the community, and then they're just like, you know what? I've literally had it. Never show up again. So
yeah.
yeah, we miss you guys. No Willie Downer, but really appreciate you guys. Didn't expect to go 2.5 hours. I'll tell you that right now. Hey,
I know.
I could tell you, Jake.
I'll read Gary's text here. Let's see. When do you want to record this short show? Gary, this is literally a Tarantino film.
It is. It
Like,
really is.
you
It
could
turned
have
into
watched-
2 hours and 31 minutes of praising the Jays and their offensive approach. Look,
Oh my God! You could have watched
Right,
Inglourious
LaSavage-
Bastards in the same amount of time.
we sure could have. And this has just been, it was necessary. We've got the day off. They're flying the Yankees Delta first class charter back to New York to see what they can do with this series. We figured we might as well go long, I guess. So we really appreciate everyone. I mean, we had over 700 people in here for the better part of 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Almost 6,000 views. Like, we'll probably get there by the time we finish this. So
Yeah. Thank you guys. And what do we want them to put in the comment section? Because this could be truly anything.
normally something just comes to my mind, but
How about would you play Jason Dominguez? Like, what about J-Dom? Right.
How about J-Dom for life?
Drop J-Dom for life in the comment section if you're with us 2 hours and 32 minutes into the show. And guys, that is in the comment section, not in the live chat. The live chat, it will disappear and cease to exist. And Jackie James with the 7 says, have a sense of humor. I'm trolling, but serious at the same time. I mean, we know you're having a good time. And obviously, you're supporting the channel with supers, which is a
we
great way,
appreciate
obviously,
you.
to support us. So, Jackie, thank you. And obviously, like we said before, the Jays came out to prove they're the better team in the American League East. That's been the conversation. Are the Jays just playing out their minds, plus minus be damned? And the Yankees, the $300 million team, they just hit a snag in June and July. Is that the reason why the Jays won this division? Or are the Jays just a better baseball team? So far through 2 games, they've established so far we are the better team. And so the Yankees, the only way that they can prove otherwise is by playing perfect baseball the next 3 games of this series. And that includes, going to face the pitcher who just dominated you today. So a lot on their plate. Starts with game 3. We've got a day off, so you can go order your Marlboros and go smoke a pack. Take a load off, watch a movie, go be a family man. Drop in the comment section, JDOM for life. If you stuck around with us to this point, make sure you guys subscribe to the video, hit the bell icon to be notified. We go live after every single Yankees game, win or lose. Like the video.